head. I'm talking about mine.
I had to send you that because of Jon Stewart. It wasn't so much the story. It was that Jon Stewart could not control himself. That's what made it so fun. It was funny when he says, the crocodiles had to be pissed. Like, was it you? No.
No, no, it's a little fish. But I thought, I lived to be 41. That's pretty effing old for a crocodile hunter.
And the whole time, Jon Stewart's like, don't.
Come on. Don't make me laugh at this. Please don't be funny.
Gosh, that was funny. I will say, though, that Edmonds and DeAndre Swift at the baseball, isn't that great? I mean, it's just raw, beautiful, human laughter. I mean, that was everything about that was just perfect.
And I'm telling you, if you're Major League Baseball, you got to give out more freebies, man. You got to get some of the other athletes of the other sports to come to your games. By the way, how cool is it to have been Norm Macdonald when you're the comedian that other comedians think are the bomb, even though you're not the biggest? Okay, but when you walk into the room, the other comedians are like, there's the talented one.
One thing that's kept me going. We don't have a lot of success. We don't make a lot of money, but people in the industry,
think we're okay.
We do a good job.
Yeah.
It's well put, Canada Relief.
I want to put Michigan.
I've already got my picks, had them yesterday.
Wow.
I have done something this week, David, that I don't think I have ever done in the history of me picking games.
5 underdogs?
No, 3 underdogs.
Trying to figure out what I am for the year. I lost track.
You got it. Hang on.
I think I'm 1 over 500.
What were you last week?
3 and 4. I was 2 over 500. I went 4 and 4.
You were 21 and 19, so now you're 24 and 23.
Okay. What are you?
5 seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
And I'll tell you, the appetizer was pretty damn entertaining. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Hell of a sports day yesterday, Mark.
Finally had an interesting baseball game in these championship series as the Diamondbacks walk it off. The Astros get it done, and then the Jags taking hold of their division and giving the Bucks some help as well last night, David.
You still have the dog collar?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wife looked at me last night with the game on. She goes, I guess I don't need to ask who you're rooting for, do I? I said, hell no.
No.
It's Jaguars football.
Did you simply just look at her and go, J-A-G-S, Jags, Jags, Jags?
I one-upped it. I hit her with a Duval.
Look at you. Look at you. Our second act, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just with us in this, our third act, in our second act, All right. Mark Miller adopted the Jags. He had, well, somewhat disparagingly referred to them as the South Georgia Jags for most of our 10-year first act. And of course, they had done a lot of losing. It was kind of like the Bucks in the creamsicles, to be honest with you. And then, in our second act, Mark had a feeling. And sure enough, that team was 6 minutes away from the Super Bowl. And he got a Jags dog collar. And everything was fine in the Miller household until the Jags, on the way to the AFC Championship game, beat the wife's Steelers.
And I
Oh, boy.
stole the Jets, Jegs, or Jets, Jets, and put the Jags in there. And at that time, my daughter was much younger. And my
Right.
daughter was being molded into
Yes.
her fandom.
Right. She was like 3-ish, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And when the Jags took down the Steelers, we were watching the game from the hot tub, and my wife walked in the house doing something. And I said, give it to her. And the daughter went, Jags, 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 Jags. Safe to say, make it happen night did not happen for the rest of that month. But it was worth it. It was worth every second of it.
And so Mark and put the Jags dog collar on the beloved dog. Okay. Removing the Steelers collar, right?
Bingo.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, Mark doubled down here. He tripled down. And instead of taking the 3 count early in the match, walked around, entertained the crowd, got on the top rope, and then jumped on again. Right. And so this has been like a 6-year thing. That was 2017, and yet, the effects of it are still everlasting. And so now here we are, and they've got themselves a franchise quarterback. They ain't never had one of those before. And as if you're a fan of a team that has one of those, knows, that means times get good and they stay good. Unless, of course, you're a Chargers fan. Hello!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
So, they roped the dope last night, man. They were Ali, okay, in which they're like the other fighters throwing more punches, landed more punches, and yet somehow at the end of the round, 10-9 Ali. It was the strangest damn game, Mark.
I think they called a couple of knockdown slips.
Right.
The Jags tried to fumble it away a couple of times.
New Orleans ran 31 more plays than did the Jags. 31 more plays. That's half a game. Most NFL teams run 63, 65 plays. The Saints ran 87 last night. Remember, this is the Jags' third game in 12 days in 3 different locale. They're on the road to boot. I know it's not that far across I-10 from Jacksonville to New Orleans, but still, 87 plays. And plays 84, 5, 6, and 7 were a goal line stand from the 6. Wow.
You wonder why defenses get gassed in games. It's why David keeps going back to the number of plays. Time of possession is not the be-all, end-all. It's not even a telltale statistic anymore. How many plays is your defense out there for? And in the fourth quarter, when they were in the 60s, 70s, and then 80s, there was nothing left of the Jags defense that played really good for 3 quarters of a game.
And then they got to that, 55. That's my line of demarcation. Once a defense gets into the 50s, especially in the NFL, this is my theory. 1, this is like the body punches finally taking their toll on a boxing match. It's like, uh-oh. And secondly, defenses have shown the offenses everything they got. By the time they've, lined up 50 times, now the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, they know everything that's coming. in every situation. It's why my theory is why teams are so much more effective seemingly in the fourth quarter, because they're fighting the fighter whose legs are weary, but also the fighter has shown the game plan, shown everything they got. And Derek Carr and the Saints, I mean, late third quarter, right on through to the end, they put up like 200 yards of offense. And it still wasn't enough. So big win for the Jags, big win for the Bucks.
If the Bucks can finish off their end of the deal and take care of the Falcons at home this weekend, it will have been a glorious 4 days, 3.5 days, if you will, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That'd be a 2-game lead in the loss column and a 2-0 division record, and still have Carolina on your schedule twice. I mean, remember, how many do we think it's going to take to win this division? I mean, we certainly think 9, right? Hell, like last year, it might be 8, especially if it's the right 8.
And that's why division wins are so important, and getting the Saints all ready. Now an opportunity to take care of the Falcons could loom large for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But another thing that happened last night, Mark, Trevor Lawrence letting everybody know, not only in his locker room, but letting the whole league know, I'm a franchise quarterback.
David, who was the Jags' leading rusher last night?
Well, it was the guy with the bad left knee.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
Toughness still matters in that sport at every position. And if he didn't already have every part of the locker room, he does now, David. If there was, and I don't think there was much doubt, but the confidence level of that defense rose last night because their quarterback was playing and doing the things that he was doing out there.
And listen, I understand that outside of Adam, who follows us on Twitch, and maybe 3 others, that, there aren't a lot of Jags fans that listen to this show, because there aren't a lot of Jags fans outside of Northeast Florida. We get that. But you're all fans of a certain football team, college or pro. Put yourselves for 30 seconds in the shoes of a Jags fan. You ain't never had one of these before. You've been around 30 years. You ain't never had one. You've had tough quarterbacks before. Byron Leftwich was tough. Remember the scene when he was in college? They were carrying him from play to play on a game-winning drive. Byron Leftwich was tough. Okay, David Garrard was tough. Mark Brunell was tough. But now you've got their toughness, whatever intangibles that the best quarterbacks in your franchise's history has, combined with, oh yeah, he's got top 5 skill at the position in the league. Isn't he like 24 years old? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not 25. The magazines come out with, top people under the age of 25. Is he 23 or 24?
He just turned 24.
Just turned 24.
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Trust me, if there's someone in your life that you didn't know was a Jags fan, you'll know it today. They will not be able to contain themselves today. They won a game they almost always lose, and their quarterback announced to everybody, I'm a dude. You got yourselves a dude at quarterback. Damn.
Big win for the Jags. They take control of their division, and with their win, helping Tampa with an opportunity to take control of theirs. And then Sunday night, there's the Dolphins.
In the battle of Alabama quarterbacks, And
Funny what we
Alabama
think
wide
of those two.
receivers.
Yeah, but funny what we think of those two just a year ago, where we thought of these guys, what we think of them now.
Well, really, I mean, all the talking head shows. You guys want to replay those Tua Herbert reels from last year? Anybody want to play those back? It's sports. Things change. People improve. Some people don't. Things happen. Enjoy it.
We've got a great show lined up for you again today. It's our usual Friday lineup with Lee Sterling and Pat Kirwan. But Joe Zagacki will join us to talk a little Canes and Clemson.
That's when
they
you know
get
it's
it on tomorrow.
That's when you know it's a big football weekend. When Clemson at Miami is like sliding under the radar. That's when you know you got a lot going on this weekend. Wait, Clemson at Miami's an afterthought? Seriously? Wow, pretty good weekend. Yeah, matter of fact, it is.
So we'll get into all the games in a lot of different ways today. We thank you so very much for listening to Miller and Moulton. Where else but right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. It'll be interesting to see if the Michigan fan base starts playing the woe is me card. Because they've always tried to hold themselves up to a little higher standard. And Harbaugh denying all of it looks just pathetic. Not that there's anything else he could have done. But I would be playing every song with the word stealing in it throughout the game if I was Michigan State on Saturday. Be playing Smooth Criminal. Been Caught Stealing by Jane's Addiction. No. I mean, the whole game. That's what every time Michigan said anything, I'd have a song that had something about stealing in it.
That's outstanding. That really is.
Think about that, though, KW. How would they, if they hadn't run the play all year, how would Michigan know what it was unless they were at their practices? They're accused of doing it at games.
$30 seconds.
Maybe they just have better players.
Could be that, too. Wait till Urban comes to East Lansing.
Okay. He can't handle losing twice a season. How's he going to handle being at Michigan State?
I don't know. The $9 million a year they'll pay him.
He's got enough money.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Lee Sterling, 40 minutes time. He'll make his picks. We'll make ours throughout the show. Pat Kirwan to join us to talk all things NFL. And Joe Zagacki, longtime voice of the Canes, will stop by in our final segment along the network before the Diamond District bonus hour. All right. Tough to take the NCAA seriously, and you and I don't. That's fair, right?
No.
Okay. So this is tough. You have the NCAA, who you don't take seriously, and the University of Michigan, who you loathe. Okay.
Yes.
So now you have to combine these stories and weed out what you think is true and what have you. A low-level staffer, Mark, with a military background, has emerged as one of the linchpins in an NCAA investigation into Michigan alleged sign stealing football operation. Connor Stallions is his name. And Mark, he's one of them analysts You know how Saban's got about 20 interns and 20 analysts? He's an analyst with the Wolverines, a former retired captain in the Marines. And he's the person of interest as to whether Michigan has violated an NCAA rule by scouting future opponents in person at games. Can you believe that? Buying a ticket, sitting in the stands, and watching the team you're going to play in the coming weeks. How dare you, sir? Am I having too much fun with this or not?
You're having a lot of fun. I'm just letting you go.
Okay. What's the anyway?
Are you allowed to do that, David?
Apparently not, which I'm shocked about.
I was too. Of all the things that I was stunned by, I didn't know you couldn't scout in person.
It's NCAA bylaw 11.6-1. Off-campus in-person scouting of future opponents in the same season is prohibited. So I can watch the game on TV, but I can't watch it in person?
Correct.
Huh. So
The All-22 provides enough, in their opinion, from a film standpoint, that's all they need.
So, and of course, Mark, you've got everyone releasing a statement about how integrity is important. We don't condone this.
And Harbaugh knew nothing about it. Apparently, they're getting signs from every game they've played, but the head coach, the control freak of every college organization, had no clue this was going on. I'm telling you, this program, for as good as it is, it's getting away from Harbaugh because all these things are happening, and he doesn't have a clue what's going on, David.
It is amazing because, as you mentioned, there is no bigger control freak in sports than the major Division I college football or basketball coach. On the men's side, I mean, there are a few women, but definitely on the men's side, control freaks. And yet, when something happens, it's always Colonel Klink. I know nothing. What? That's happening under my watch? You got to be kidding me. No way. Tell me more.
I am just curious how I'm guessing the Michigan fans blowing this off, saying it was nothing, just like the hamburger incident was nothing. But Michigan's never gotten in trouble until Harbaugh's been there. Never. I mean, either they were the best cheaters in the history of cheating, David, or they actually had integrity there.
Well, but Mark, the only thing I could say is for all those years, they weren't scouting the Pac-10, 8, 12, because they couldn't beat them in a Rose Bowl. But I got to admit, this one I'm having a little trouble taking seriously because I think the rule is preposterous. Okay. But I will say, if what's being alleged in an ESPN story overnight is that this Marine for the last 2.5 years has been scouting opponents and has been sending reports, and there's an email trail, okay, then at least Harbaugh and the program can't deny it. So that I am curious about. If that part of the story is true, I still think it's borderline ridiculous, but if that's happening.
But David, here's the thing. You think it's borderline ridiculous. And for the record, I think it's extremely unusual that they can't allow scouts to go pre-scout games. That seems weird to me.
It does, doesn't it?
But David, if it indeed, this is not signing a scorecard in the proper area. This is a pretty black and white rule here.
No, it's true. It's true. This would be knowingly, intentionally violating a rule. Absolutely. Even if you think the rule's preposterous, right?
Well, that seems to be what Harbaugh's MO is. If he doesn't like the rule, he just ignores the rule. And that's not how it works.
Do you think the NCAA, I mean, it's as if there's like a couple of Ohio State fans that are like, we've got to drive this guy back to the NFL. Okay. Well, how are we going to go after him? I got a plan. What's the plan? Cheeseburgers and cheating. I like that. Yep. Cheeseburgers and cheating, and we are going to press this to the hilt. Okay. I like it. I'm in. Who do I need to call? By the way, you know how this story started? Because it's not like the NCAA. It's got investigators. And you know how this story started? Who did? Which media outlet did the investigating?
Yahoo Sports?
There you go.
The only ones left, David. They're the only investigators left on the planet.
Yep. They're the investigation arm of the NCAA. Hey, did you go on Yahoo today? No, man, I don't want to uncover more grief going on in college athletics. Okay, but you have to go on the site next week. You got to tell us what we're missing. Oh, all right.
I'm telling you, I said it to you during the break. If I'm Sparty this weekend, who's hosting Michigan, I am playing every song with the word stealing in it the entire game.
So
And
what's
Stealing by Jane's Addiction when they come out?
okay?
Stealing when I should have been buying. I mean, it would not stop.
What's the Michael Jackson song you're playing?
Oh, Smooth Criminal.
I will say, Mark, during the commercial break, he was giving us his DJ list. If he was DJing the
Nonstop.
game.
That's all I would do.
Well, yeah, because you're 24-point dogs, and I don't even know.
Out.
Right. I mean, it's going to be 42-10, so you might as well have some fun with the music. You know. Mark, it's been 26 years since they've won a national championship. The fan base is like, listen, win the damn final game of the year, okay? And we'll deal with whatever we got to deal with. You know, banners going up, down, and storage, whatever. We'll deal with it. We've dealt with it in other sports. We'll deal with it in this one too. But I will say, if you got a former Marine who's doing the scouting, who's filing reports, I mean, that would be cheating. That's intentionally violating the rules.
Yes. To benefit the outcome of games.
I want to know who you're scouting. Please tell me you're not scouting anybody named, I mean, please tell me you're only scouting Penn State and Ohio State games, right? I mean, come on. If you actually get caught because you were scouting Rutgers or Indiana or something, you know what? You should get punished. Because for stupidity alone.
You can just line up and beat these teams by 28 without trying.
Come on now. But so on the scandal of a list of a college football scandal list of 1 to 10, where do you have this?
I have it at 2 until we find out that if the Marine was doing all the things they allege, it goes up to at least a 7.
And it's like a 0.4 for me, but I will raise it to a 5 if the Marine is involved. Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Wow. Nice to see that we're on in Albania.
Whoa. Hey, Mac. Good Albanian sponsor for the show. Now I'm thinking, I'll be thinking about Wag the Dog the whole day, Mac.
Miller and Moulton brought to you by the Albanian Tourism Department.
How is there an Albania?
Albania?
Is there an Albania Airlines? They could be the official airline of Miller and Moulton. That'd be appropriate.
I found out the county is sponsoring like the Irish national softball team. Wears Fort Myers patches because they got them to come over and train. Now that softball, and that was one of the things in the meeting they were talking about, the softball and baseball being Olympic sports could be really big for Lee County because teams have to come train. We have facilities. We can bring multiple teams in to train. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool.
We need a distraction. Oh, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's cause problems with a country. Oh, what country do you want to pick? Oh, I don't know. How about one that's not threatening? Like Albania. The last 20 minutes of Wag the Dog, it went a little crazy. But the first hour or so of Wag the Dog, it's kind of like Good Morning Vietnam. Last 20 minutes, Good Morning Vietnam, outside of the last couple jokes, which were incredible. It went off the reservation, but the first like hour 15 of Good Morning Vietnam was incredible.
Almost sent you another one since you brought up Good Morning Vietnam. Robin Williams apparently had one line to do at a commercial. There's 5 parts of the TikTok. I just watched the first part. One line. And the director's like, okay, Mr. Williams, will do the line. We can bring in another actor. Oh, you stop indeed. And he just won't quit. Starts reading the line as Nicholson. I just watched one. It was like 3 minutes long. I had tears running down my face.
And boy, the world could use him now. Golly. We could use, you know what? That's the lounge in heaven I want to go to. Can somebody propel me? Little Bernie Mac, little George Carlin, little Robin Williams. Okay, nice little jazz club interjected with some comedy. And, I could use a weekend of that. Little 4-day, 3-night thing.
Maybe prior to do a set for you.
Totally. On a Saturday night, once it just, we're going to bring the house down. Golly. Oh boy, could we ever use a little George Carlin and Robin Williams right now? My word.
Are the Bears going to win with Garoppolo out? No.
Well,
that's an underplay.
Well, especially since Hoyer's starting is Hoyer going to start for the Raiders? He hasn't won a game in 7 years as a starting quarterback. Or are they going to go back to that young kid who they started before? I think Hoyer is the in-game guy. They designate him the number 2 quarterback if Garoppolo plays, but if Garoppolo can't play, he's still the number 2 quarterback, and they move the number 3 guy up to start. Ooh. By the way, that's the sign behind me.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. That's when Lee Sterling joins us to make his picks. We'll make our picks against the number 1 hour from now. Mark, I am going to throw not one, but 2 curves at you when we make our picks.
Oh, I'm doing something I don't know if I've ever done.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. So we got that to look forward to in about an hour. Pat Kirwan in a little over an hour. Joe Zagacki, the voice of the Canes, in 2 hours. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half. On their first 20 plays of the half, had gained 78 yards. And yet they were winning the whole second half. I mean, it helped that they played a really good first half. They were up 17-6. And then they got a pick 6 in the third quarter. They're up 24-9. And then the Saints, took over the fight. Went on a 17-play touchdown drive that capped it off early fourth quarter. Then Jacksonville got stuffed on a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 near midfield, mid-fourth quarter. Saints scored 3 plays later, went for 2, got it. We're tied at 24, Mark. Saints had the ball with all that momentum. 3 and out. Jacksonville got the ball near midfield. Trevor Lawrence, short cross to Christian Kirk. He took it to the house, 44 yards, touchdown. And then the Saints drove all the way down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal with a minute to go at the 6. Plenty of timeouts. We're going overtime. And then the Jacksonville defense defending their 84th, 85th, 86th, and 87th play of the night. Make a stand. And the Jaguars win their 4th in a row. They're 5-2. They beat the Saints 31-24. New Orleans falls to 3-4. Huge opportunity now for the Tampa Bay Bucks Sunday at home. A win, and both the Falcons and Saints will have 4 losses, and they each will have lost to the Bucks, who would improve to 4-2. Are you doing the math? Yeah. Big opportunity for Tampa Bay. Trevor Lawrence played 20 of 29, a little over 200 yards, and he was the leading rusher on the Jags as well, which is something for a guy who had a bad knee, and we didn't even know if he was going to play. Ran for nearly 60 yards, including a 23-yard scramble early in the game. Thought to myself, I think he's all right.
Just curious, when they're marching down the Saints at the end of the game, you just said overtime. You sure? Were you thinking they might go for 2 if they scored there?
No, I figured since the Jags were spent that they'd – plus he's a conservative coach. So, no, I did not think they would go for 2 in the win. That if I were the Saints, I'd be thinking, listen, they're shot. All I need is the ball. Okay, if I get the ball again, I'm going to win. So, I mean, because the Jags had made 1 play on offense in an hour and a half.
Right.
So, no, I was thinking they were kicking the extra point. If it was the other way, I think Doug Peterson would have been like, we got to get out of here. Win or lose, we got to get out of here. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo is out. Back injury. He's not playing against the Bears. That could be a hell of a quarterback matchup, right? I mean, Fields is likely out, right?
And then they'll start the 3rd string guy there for the Raiders?
That's what McDaniels had said. It's what he said to us at Monday Night Football in the production meeting, that basically Hoyer's the number 2 quarterback when Garoppolo starts. that we want, if something happens to Jimmy G during a game, we want the veteran to come in and, get the horse into the barn, so to speak. But that when Jimmy G is out, who's the kid in Aiden O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. That they started. And so they're, my guess is if Josh McDaniels is to be believed, that's who they'll go with against the Bears, who are probably going to start the D2 kid, right? That's a hell of a matchup, huh? Saquon Barkley says, quote, I don't want to get traded, which I have to admit begs the question, why not? But
that's coming from a Giants fan, folks. That's why it's so damn funny.
Saquon, can we talk? Your team sucks, and they don't want to pay you. Why do you want to stay again? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Jersey, too. And I know you went to college nearby at Penn State. And I mean, I get it. But you sure? Just saying. Grass could be greener. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson threw passes at practice yesterday for the first time in 3.5 weeks. He has a, quote, rotator cuff strain. Got to be some strain. When asked about his status, Mark, for Sunday against the Colts, he said, quote, it's up in the air, unquote. Apparently his passes did not have a lot of steam on them. He was just kind of standing around throwing the ball. So if I had to guess, I'd guess he's not playing. But what do I know? Carolina has given another player permission to seek a trade. Things seem to be going well there, right? 0-6. Frank Reich has already been forced to give up play calling, which begs the question, why'd you hire him? I mean, you hired him for his work with quarterbacks and his play calling. I mean, chill out, guys. Okay? Just, be a little patient here. You weren't expected to win. Wide receiver Terrence Marshall Jr. has permission to seek a trade. He was a second-round pick in 2021. He's just 23 years old. So far this year, Mark, he's averaging a whopping 8 yards a catch. College football, the NCAA announced they are investigating number 2 Michigan amid a sign-stealing allegation. Jim Harbaugh said, I know nothing, but that he and his staff will fully cooperate.
Of course they will.
And the Big Ten said they are shocked and appalled.
Of course they are.
Okay? When we take this stuff very seriously. You know what our middle name is? Integrity. That's why it's not the Big Ten, it's the BIT. Anyway, James Madison, I should say, is 7-0. The Dukes beat Marshall 20-9. They dominated the game. Actually, Marshall's only score was a kickoff return and a safety. James Madison, 7-0. They got to start getting ranked soon, don't you think?
Yes.
I mean, just for the heck of it. I mean, do we really need a 7th Pac-12 or SEC school to get one of those bogus rankings at the bottom of the top 25? I mean, why don't you just throw James Madison in there? Just saying.
Just wish that game would have been Friday or Saturday because it would have been part of my Fantastic Five.
JT Daniels, remember him? He's at Rice. Yeah, he's at Rice. He 3 touchdowns yesterday. Rice whooped up on Tulsa on the road as an underdog, 42-10. Tonight, by the way, SMU is a 21-point favorite at Temple, 7 o'clock on ESPN. That's SMU, for those of you that don't know. Major League Baseball, Arizona trying to make it a series in the NLCS. They had a walk-off in the 9th. The Diamondbacks beat the Phillies 2-1. Game 4, 8 o'clock tonight, TBS. Meanwhile, Houston has definitely made it a series with Texas. Road teams are 4-0 in this series. Houston won their second straight. They scored 3 in the first and 4 in the fourth. Jose Abreu with a ball that is still traveling. An upper deck home run in a playoff game.
What, that regular season and playoffs now, Houston's like 8-1 in Texas?
Right. Well, and take a look at their record. They were like barely above 500 at home this year. They're the best road team in baseball. The good news for Texas is this series is going to shift back to Houston after Game 5 today, a rematch of Game 1, Justin Verlander against Jordan Montgomery. Hey, baseball, they got this Hall of Fame, Mark, and there's many different ways to be voted in. One of them is a contemporary era ballot for managers, umpires, and executives. 8 people nominated. You need 75% of the vote. There's 16 people who vote. So of these 8, how many do you think will get 12 votes in December when they meet again? Managers: Jim Leyland, Lou Piniella, Cito Gaston, remember, back-to-back titles with the Jays, and Davey Johnson. Now, I'll say this, and I know they don't take it into consideration, but if you combine the careers of Lou Piniella and Davey Johnson as players and as managers, I know they don't do that. It's like Joe Torre. Joe Torre was not a Hall of Fame player. He was a very good player, won an MVP, but was not a Hall of Fame player. But when you throw in what he did as a manager, it's like, you got to put him in, and eventually they did. Umpires: Joe West, Ed Montague. And executives: former National League President Bill White and Yankee broadcaster Bill White, and longtime GM Hank Peters. Those are the 8 that are nominated in December in Nashville. 16 men will enter a room. Whoever they vote for, 12 of the 16 will get into the Hall of Fame. There were 12 games in the NHL last night. I'm not going to go through all 12 scores. I will tell you, though, that the Lightning got 2 goals from Kucherov in a 4-3 win over Vancouver. Vasilevsky, late November, early December is what they're saying. He'll be back. He's on pace. Panthers won their home opener against Toronto. Bobrovsky picked up where he left off against the Leafs in the playoffs with 29 saves in the 3-1 win. Vegas is 5-0. They beat Winnipeg 5-3. Colorado's 4-0. They beat Chicago 4-0. And the Kraken got their first win of the year, Mark. They beat Carolina 7-4. There's only one winless team now in the NHL. It's San Jose. And finally, golf. None of it in this country. The men are in Japan. Bo Hostler with a 1-shot lead in the Zozo Championship. Shoffley's 3 back. Morikawa and Keegan Bradley are 4 back. The LIV, their team championship, gets underway today at Doral. It's actually an interesting concept. Women are in Korea for the BMW Championship. Australian Minjee Lee is a 2-shot lead over American Allison Lee. Nelly Corda's in the top 10. She's 5 back. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
I know you don't care about this, but I'm going to make you care for 30 seconds. Would you vote Leland as a Hall of Fame manager?
I think so.
I mean, won the 3 division titles with the Pirates, came oh so close to taking them to the World Series. Obviously won the title with the Marlins, and then his work taking the Tigers to the World Series.
I think so.
Lou Piniella.
Yes.
Won the title with the Reds early in his career. Did some good work in Seattle.
Just the 2 speeches of Leland and Piniella are worth having them get into the Hall.
I think Davey Johnson's a Hall of Fame manager, and not just because he won the World Series with the Mets. He won a division title with the Reds. He took the Orioles to the playoffs, back-to-back LCSs in the mid to late 90s. Davey Johnson's teams won. All Davey Johnson. He won with the Washington Nationals. I mean, Davey Johnson's teams won. But and Cito Gaston won back-to-back World Series.
Right. So that seems like it's kind of a dunk.
So anyway, yeah, there you go. Joe West umpired more games than anybody else. I mean, if you're going to put an umpire in, that's a pretty good stat to have. Yet the other guy on the list was considered a better umpire, Ed Montague. I don't know about umpires in the Hall of Fame, but
I don't like the idea of umpires in the Hall of Fame.
I know there's a handful of them, but
right. But the whole idea of the umpires, if they do a great job, we don't notice them.
But maybe at the end you want to notice them. That's their
Fair
thought.
enough.
I don't know. Listen,
not going to lose any sleep over an umpire getting to the Hall of Fame, but it wouldn't be someone. If I'm in that room, it's tough for me to vote for umpires.
If Joe West gets in, since his nickname was Country Joe West, and he recorded a couple country albums, should he sing? Nah, never mind.
Sure.
So there you go. Hey, I've got a teaser in my bag.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Moulton's feeling it, everybody. I can just tell right now that this is nowhere near 5. It may not be near 7.
That's not true. That's not true. Okay. I'm behaving yet misbehaving all at the same time because it's my favorite game on the board, because it will probably be the ugliest game on the board.
That looks like a Minnesota-Iowa type of bet to me from one David Moulton.
There you go.
31.5 is the over-under for that game. 31.5. Lee Sterling to make his picks on the other side. Thanks so much for listening to Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now we can right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I was on another page. I was looking something up.
How about Al Michaels last night, huh?
I didn't have
the 1 yard line.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you got to. My wife and I are always talking about the commentators, and you got Google it. I mean, or go to Twitter. Horrible guy. Christian Kirk goes down the sideline, literally this far from the sidelines, and he goes for like a 50-yard touchdown. He goes, well, he's out on the 1. My wife and I are looking at each other.
Oh wow,
horrible.
That's not good.
So my wife says to me something funny. She
I didn't
goes,
have the volume up.
Well, you gotta watch it. It's
right.
One of the worst things I've ever seen. Also, my wife turns to me over the weekend. She goes, Troy Aikman is really on this year. I said, might be because of the girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, well, a younger girlfriend always helps.
That's true. So, but headed up to Chicago, going to see my daughter sing the national anthem for the Bears game Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the weekend.
That was last weekend. That's this weekend?
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was last weekend.
Yeah, it's this weekend. So, if you have a stream, if you're watching, I didn't know they show the national anthem for every team. Did you know that?
No.
If you go to the game early, because I usually tune in right when the game starts. If you go to the game, they have every game has a pregame show, and at 3 minutes before the hour, they show the national anthem. So, should be wearing a Walter Payton jersey.
That's smart.
Sorry, I literally got my phone on the screen and just knocked me off camera.
I just figured.
Wow, that was weird.
I just figured you were trying to tell us something.
No.
30 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to text you the game of the week.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it is the top of the 7 o'clock hour, and that means on a Football Friday, Lee Sterling. He of Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. Lee, we got some big games this week, and you're willing to tackle them. How are you?
I'm good. Discussed off there. I'm heading out Saturday morning, see my daughter sing the national anthem for the Bears and Raiders game between two backup quarterbacks. So,
did they at all suggest that she comes back for another game where the starting quarterbacks are in and bring in the second string anthem singer?
Well, how about this? So they've lost 10 straight at home. If they win, she's got to be the good luck charm. So.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it, right?
Here's what's crazy. So she's probably saying 20, 25 national anthems at like Heat games, Marlins games, NBA games like the Utah Jazz. The home team has never lost a game where she sang the national anthem. I don't know how. So,
wow. Between that and the over-under on the anthem in the Super Bowl, I mean, I think we're on to something here.
She might have to get her own line. Paramount Sports might be a new extension for your daughter.
Oh, so, I love this. After she won last year, she goes, oh, yeah, by the way, I had like a dentist bill and my phone bill. Do you want to take care of that this month?
Darn right. Send invoices, Dad. Time to
And then the one time, I'll never forget this. So finally, when she got the Orange Bowl national anthem last year, she goes, finally, after 45 or 50 national anthems, something came through with your delusional dream here. I said, oh, okay. But when she sang, I'll never forget this. It was like she was singing a Dade County, maybe it was the alumni, something, the awards banquet. She left out a word in the national anthem. The only time she did. and she pinned it all on me that it was my fault.
It always is. Dad, if you screw up, I mean, we know, we're all fathers of daughters here.
Yep.
If they do it right, it's on them. If they do it wrong, it's on us. All right, Lee, let's get to some of the games. Ohio State and Penn State, it's the biggest game of the week. Let's start with the biggest college football game this weekend. The Buckeyes right now are a 4.5-point favorite.
So I think this is going to be one of the craziest years. Now Georgia's lost Brock Bowers maybe for the year. This would have been the year for the college playoff. I think we might end up with the top 3 teams in the Big Ten all going 1-1 against each other. Why do I think Penn State's got a real good chance to win this game? They rank number 1 or 2 in every major statistical category. Manny Diaz wasn't a good head coach. Pretty darn good, though, defensive coordinator. Kyle McCord, nothing special. He leads them to the win against Notre Dame in that last drive. But before that drive, really did nothing in that game. And watch their offensive line. They don't hold their blocks and get to the next level like they used to in the past. I think it's Penn State's year here. They've lost 9 out of 10 here. The wrong team is favored. Penn State outright 31-24 over Ohio State.
We're going to have Joe Zagacki on the show in an hour and a half. It's a shame that Clemson at Miami is almost an afterthought.
Right.
All right. And it wouldn't have been, obviously, if not for the Georgia Tech debacle for the Canes. It's a small number. Clemson, a 3-point favorite at Miami.
Is Clemson where they were before? No, a few years ago. But in the game against Florida State, 2 plays to find that game. A fumble, scoop for a touchdown when Clemson was driving in Florida State territory, 14 or at least a 10-point switch there. And then they missed an easy field goal. I think it was less than 30 yards, or else they win. Either of those 2 plays don't go against them. They're the winner there. I don't know how you play Miami right now. I liked them last week. I thought they were going to come out and play hard. They did for a half. And then they got outplayed. They got outcoached. This is the biggest game of Mario Cristobal's career. What we've seen here is the Miami program. I think I saw something like since like 2006. I think like maybe 9 or 10 years or maybe 12. They've lost 3 straight games during the season. I mean, it's crazy. I think they're going to lose again. I don't see how you can back Miami here. I like Clemson here, 26-20.
Duke may get their quarterback back. Will it matter? The Noles at home, a 14.5-point favorite.
So I think Duke is going to slow the game down. I think Leonard, there's a 60-70% chance he plays. I won't play this game until it's decided if he plays or not. But if he plays, think about it. There's 8 or 9 possessions in the game, and Duke's not snapping the ball with 10, 20 seconds to go. They want it to be 2-3 seconds. There's 8 or 9 possessions, and it's 14 and a half, and you're laying that with Florida State. They got to have like 6 touchdowns or 6 scores to Duke's 2, maybe 3. That's tough. So Duke does play really good defense, number 4 in college football and scoring defense, allowing just 10.2 points per game here. What's crazy about Florida State, you think of them as how good they are. Well, they're in the top 5, but they rank 24th in offense and I think it's like 64th or 68th in defense. I'm going to take Duke plus the points here.
To Sundays we go. I have both these games on my sheet, so I'm really curious of how you have them to see if I'm going head-to-head with Lee again. Baltimore and Detroit, the Ravens are a 3-point favorite, Lee.
So Baltimore hasn't been right all season. Lamar Jackson, just look at his body language, does not like this offense. They're not producing. Their running backs are fumbling. He's not running enough. They're not moving the pocket enough. Receivers are dropping ball at a record rate. And what's Detroit doing? They're best team in the NFL, in my opinion, over the last 16 games. They're 14-2 against the spread. Spread record tells you really what you are. And Jared Goff, who's thrown in, people thought when the Stafford trade was made, he'd last a year, maybe 2 years. Over the last 16 games, he has had 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions here. I think this Detroit team right now is special. Baltimore's lost to 2 mediocre teams this year. Detroit's way better. I like Detroit outright, 24-20.
All right. Sunday night, a spot the Dolphins have not been in a long time. A good team in a marquee game and a chance to be considered amongst the very best in the league. They're getting 2.5 in Philly.
I think it's a bad matchup for Miami. I think Miami might be better than Philadelphia, but sometimes the way teams match up and when you play them. So Philly's coming off a loss, has not played even close to their A game. I don't know if you could even say that they played a B or B minus game so far. Losing to the Jets, bad setup. They'll be ready to go. Then you got Miami's going to need the ball. Philadelphia, number 2 in the NFL, time of possession, averaging over 34 minutes per game. Weather, Miami, I think it's dropped to like the upper 60s, maybe at like 4 in the morning, practicing every day in 75 to 85 degree weather. It's going to be mid to low 40s is the forecast, and winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Miami's done really well against some bad defenses. 24th rated Chargers on defense, 29 Giants, 30 Carolina and Denver, 31 and 32. I just think that the Dolphins are going to be really good down the road once they get Armstead, A-Chain, Jalen Ramsey maybe next week back, and even slot cover corner Nick Needham. But bad matchup, bad time. I like Philly, 35-28.
Your game of the week, Tennessee and Alabama. It's a big one in the SEC. How do they get it, Lee?
Elimination game, basically. You want to get for free, be one of the first 10 callers, 800-400-9741. Get the game on me, 800-400-9741. Got a bunch of specials, 7 for $77, college football. As soon as you purchase it, you're ready to go. You don't have to call back later today or Saturday. 5 for $55 in the NFL or Locktober, 2 weeks through October 31st, $157. We're 54-30-2 on the season. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
800-400-9741. You can also follow Lee on Twix, Twitter/X at Paramount Sports. So he's taken Penn State and the points. He's taken Duke in the points. He's taken the Lions in the points. But he's laying the little bit with Clemson and with the Eagles as game of the week, Alabama and Tennessee. Lee, safe travels. Wish your daughter the best for us. And we'll get a scouting report next week. And remember, Dad, it's your fault and you're buying dinner.
Okay, of course. It's the way it always is. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe.
Lee Sterling, once again, here on Miller and Moulton. She's going to wear a Walter Payton jersey. I said
that's the way to endear yourself to the home crowd.
I said that's a good choice right there.
Absolutely.
That's a good choice. All right. The only thing I said to him, I said, can never, ever go wrong with sweetness. I go, if you went Butkus, though, I go, timing. I go, but can't go wrong, obviously, with sweetness.
A lot of people to sing in front of.
Yeah, I know.
And this just in, it's not an easy song.
No, it's not. It's not. I would need the words up on the scoreboard.
So, true story, when I used to help run a minor league hockey franchise, big playoff game, and we had a concert out front, and the lead singer of the band was going to sing the anthem. And I know him really well. Good guy, good singer. And he was pumped because his mom, sings rock and roll. That does nothing for mom. Singing the anthem in front of a sold-out arena had mom really excited for her boy.
Right.
And he walks up to me 20 minutes before the game and says, you guys put the words up on the scoreboard, right? No. What do you mean? Because, a lot of arenas will put those so the crowd can sing. We just put the flag.
Right.
And he goes, you got to get me the words. He goes, you got to get me. And he didn't hold him. It was his only fear of forgetting a word.
Yep. That would be my thing too. Just changing a word. Yep. So that's, by the way, that is not something that I ever, I'd love the idea, you want to throw out the first pitch? Absolutely. I'm in. You want to drop the puck you want to, participate in a Globetrotters Generals game, absolutely. Sing the anthem? Oh, no, I'm good.
No, I can't sing, so that's never going to happen.
Well, but just even assuming that you're good enough to pull it off. No.
Oh, if I was good enough, I'd sing anywhere and everywhere if I had a good singing voice.
Really?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
The anthem, though?
Sure.
A lot of pressure on the anthem.
But if you can sing, it doesn't matter. It's no pressure. It's just what you do.
Okay. We will make our picks.
Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal nursing home claims,
coming up,
auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Going head-to-head with Lee in 2 of 3 games. Want to go through some college games here?
Sure. Oh, man. I will sleep well tonight. My travel's pretty good this week. Direct flight Atlanta to Minneapolis, direct flight Minneapolis, Jacksonville.
That's
I
nice.
I only go out west one more time. Christmas, we're in San Francisco. That should be fun.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We will make our picks against the number officially coming up in a little less than 20 minutes. Felipe and the play of the day coming up in a little more than a handful of minutes. Pat Kirwan at the top of the hour. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
Yeah.
Ohio State and Penn State's on my mind.
I like how you think.
It really is. I don't really have a rooting interest in this game. I don't. Ohio State fans can be annoying. We all know that. We've all dealt with the Ohio State fan or fans in our life, and they've had to calm it down the last couple of years. But Penn State doesn't win this game. And I hope they do. I think it's better for college football if Penn State wins.
Mark, Texas doesn't beat Alabama, and then they did. All right. Florida State doesn't beat Clemson and Death Valley until they did. Is this just the year where some of these things are going to happen, if you know what I mean? Is this the year that, you know what? It's not that the world gets turned over, but is this just the year that, you know what? It's not going to go according to plan the last 10 years. Okay, guys? Going to have a few things happen. It sounds like you think Penn State's going to win and you don't have the guts to call it.
100%. You know me very well, David.
I do think Ohio State playing the big game already this year with Notre Dame, that will help them in this spot. I do. And Penn State has, they've played 3 Big Ten games already, and they've been very workmanlike, very solid, but they've really not been tested. Ohio State was tested. So even if Penn State jumps out to a lead on them, the Buckeyes will be like, well, we've been here before. Just keep grinding.
And if the other side happens, is Penn State ready for Ohio State to go take a 10-0 lead? And how will Penn State react if they're actually put in a spot that they haven't been in all season long?
Yep. Coaches included. Just will they handle it? Texas got off to a good start against Alabama. Florida State, not necessarily, actually. Had to grind their way through that. But what is this group at Florida State? What had they done before? They'd beaten LSU twice. They won 10 games last year. They had – and so now it's Penn State's turn. This quarterback's never won a game like this. Listen, he's the most talented quarterback they've had in a while. I would argue he might be their most talented quarterback since Kerry Collins. He's going to play on Sundays. But he ain't never won a game like this yet. He hasn't.
And I just think the reason I didn't, and I'm not picking Penn State in my picks, is at the end of the day, I'm not sure about Penn State's wide receivers. Ohio State's wide receivers covers all Americans every day in practice. Trust me, it's not going to be that difficult for them on Saturday.
Right. Penn State's best receiver, who's good, a very good player. He's number 3, number 4 of the Ohio State receiving corps. Probably number 3. Yeah. And also, even though Penn State secondary is outstanding, they haven't covered guys like this before. Not since last year, anyway. So it'll be fun. 4.5. What was it? 3.5?
3.5 went to 5. Now back to 4.5.
Yeah.
Needless to say, there's a little bit of action on this game.
I just want to throw a couple of college things out there quickly, and then Felipe with the play of the day.
If we have to do it. I don't know if he's on a 1-day suspension after yesterday or not.
Wow, that you really took that WNBA.
Not just me.
Hard.
It's not just me. The text line, Twitter, chat room, everything was exploding yesterday.
Just get to the thing you had to say, please.
UCF, nearly a 3-touchdown underdog at Oklahoma. Sooners coming off a bye after beating Texas. Dylan Gabriel facing his former team. All right. Can the UCF defense even show up for this game? In their last 3 Big 12 games, they've given up like 40-plus on average a game.
I'm being serious. If I put Oklahoma's over-under by itself at 44, where would you go?
Boy, I think you're right there. I really do. I'd probably go under barely, 41-42. South Florida. This is a big game.
Big game for South Florida. It really is, David.
They've lost a couple in a row. They just got rocked at home by FAU in the second half. This is the game that you want to go to a bowl. You got to win this game. They're at 1-5, I think it is UConn, who's played a lot better than that the last few weeks, though, against better opposition than South Florida.
Speaking of not being able to stop anybody, South Florida cannot stop a thing defensively.
No, that high-risk defense the last few weeks has been woof. And I'm just throwing this out there. We mentioned that James Madison is unbeaten. You know who else is unbeaten? Air Force. They lost their quarterback last week, though. And they're playing one of those other service academies on the road this week. They're at Navy. Navy's played better the last couple of weeks since South Florida beat them. Can Air Force with a backup quarterback, 10.5-point favorite, by the way, but can Air Force stay unbeaten with the backup quarterback? Just some of the things I'm thinking about.
And I want to get into your game that you have a little more later on, because there's some meat on that bone of what the implications are, and what I'm curious what Tennessee can do at the line of scrimmage against Alabama. Is Alabama just going to beat them up? I don't think they are.
All right, Felipe. Time for redemption.
If we have to.
Well, it was pretty easy for my play of the day because of what happened last night, or should I say yesterday in the afternoon, in the National League Championship Series tie game, 1-1, bottom of the 9th. Ketel Marte is the hero for the Diamondbacks.
Marte ready. And the 0-1 pitch. Swing, base hit. Diamondbacks win. In to score, Smith. Marte gets his third hit of the ball game, and the Diamondbacks are alive and well in the National League Championship Series. They win Game 3. They come back home. They beat the Phillies 2-1 on a walk-off by Marte.
Greg Schulte, the longtime radio voice of the Diamondbacks, on the call. D-backs staying alive, winning Game 3. His series is now in favor of the Philadelphia Phillies, 2-1.
I was going to say, they're alive. I don't know if they're well.
But they're alive.
They are alive, though. Had to win.
Yes.
And they were losing 1-0 in the 7th. And, yeah, their season was 40 minutes away from being over. Got one in the 7th, one in the 9th. Beat Kimbrel and the Phillies bullpen in the 9th inning. So we'll see. We'll see. Both teams starting guys today. They don't really want to pitch in the playoffs. So,
right, 3 games in 3 days. See how the bullpen's faring this now. That's a bigger issue. So we shall see.
Yeah. So, and the ALCS is 2-2. Texas.
Nobody able to win a home game.
Nope, not yet. Listen, Astros have done this already. They lost a World Series this way, winning 3 road games, losing 4 home games. So, man, those that are paying attention, nobody wants the Astros anymore. We're done with the Astros. We don't even know who's playing on the Texas Rangers. We just want to see the Texas Rangers win. Miller and Moulton. We'll make our picks next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Let's go get a snack. Bag of chips at 7:30, huh?
I have no food in the house.
Well, obviously you have chips.
We do. Lots of potato chips.
I'm now at 12 days without an Oreo.
Sorry to hear that.
No. I'm fat. Got to end it.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
I meant that for the most part. Somewhat.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah. We don't have a poll question, you know. We have fallen down. 12 days, Mark said, with no Oreos. And DC wants to know, does the daughter have you on Oreo lockdown?
No. I put a sign up there. We have a family calendar that's in the pantry. The whiteboard that's just got all the things that we do that the wife fills out every month. So in the comments part, I literally wrote this many days without an Oreo, and every day I change it. It's there, so I see the sign. If I go, like last night, when I woke up, I fell asleep, woke back up around 11 o'clock and went right to the fridge. The first thing I do. It is such an awful habit. I wake up off the couch and walk right to the refrigerator. You resemble that remark, David?
It knows you. It loves you. Okay? It's good to you. Why wouldn't you go right to them?
Had rack of lamb last night for dinner. There was about 4. I sliced them down in the lamb chops. There was about 4 left. About 11 o'clock at night, just grabbed one of the lamb chops out of the fridge. It was delicious. Better than an Oreo.
I got in the doghouse for a while one time. My wife said, how come you eat so much? And I said, because we don't have enough sex.
Such a great answer.
I said, tell you what, every time I want to eat, how about if we have sex? She looked at me. She's like, yeah, I'm done with you. Okay. My buddy suggests our poll question should be who's closer to maximum density, Mark or David? I'm not close to maximum density, by the way. Bob, I've been 40 pounds heavier than this. I'm not close.
Then it must be me.
Well, I mean, maximum density, it's, we all have our own maximum density. Doesn't mean I'm not still fat. It just means I used to be fat. Ooh, National Chicken and Waffles Day.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, and that's when Pat Kirwan joins us as we'll go through the NFL games and get his thoughts on the Jags win last night. And that's a key one for them if they're going to want to pull away in their division. We think the Colts now, relegated to their backup quarterback, that they'll fade away. And the Titans are already 2-4, but the Texans are interesting. The Houston Texans are interesting, and they've already beaten Jacksonville. So the Jags need to make sure they've got some distance from the Texans before they worry about anything else. And last night was one of those toss-up games, and Trevor Lawrence and the boys delivered. 31-24 Jags. They're 5-2. They've won 4 in a row. Maybe they're beginning to take control of things in the AFC South, but they did the Bucs a big favor. Tampa Bay now, if they can take care of their end of the deal Sunday afternoon at home against Atlanta, they'll be at 4-2. Saints and Falcons will both be 3-4, and they'll have wins already against both. And they'll still have 2 games on their schedule against Carolina. So there.
All right, David, it's that time of the show where we make our picks. You had a 3-4 week last week. You are a game above 500 on the season.
All right.
I had a 3-2 week last week. I am 2 games above 500 on the season.
Okay, good for you. And by the way, only 1 losing week between the 2 of us in the last 5 weeks. All right, Mark's losing week was a doozy, and I got off to my first 2 weeks. I was 4-9. So, that can negate a lot of good that we've actually had here from like mid-September.
That 1-6 week leaves a big stain on my overall record, David.
You know what that was? You were the Broncos, and the football world were the Dolphins that week.
Got that right.
That was a whoo-wee.
All right, I'll get started today because I took on Lee in a couple of games here.
Okay.
I think Florida State's going to wipe the floor with Duke.
Ooh.
I think they win big. I don't think Duke's able to slow it down. Regardless of what quarterback plays, I think the fact that Florida State seems to be rolling right now, I like the Noles. I like them in this situation. I like everything about how their game is, and I think that they win comfortably against Duke.
Florida State and Duke have both not been in the top, 15 since mid-2000s. And the last time this situation occurred, Florida State won 59-20. It's Saturday night. Noles a 14.5-point favorite. I believe the game is on ABC.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State's been scoring, and that's what encourages me to take that number. They've had no problem putting 30 up minimum every game. All right, my other 2 college games, I've got Missouri, and I'm laying the 7.5 against South Carolina. I think last week took a lot out of South Carolina, and I think Missouri's the most underrated football team in the SEC.
Well, if Missouri wins the game, I think we at CBS are going to end up having to change our November schedule because this is Missouri's last game before their bye. So if Missouri wins this game, they're looking at first Saturday in November. They go to Athens. Georgia, by the way, is going to play like 3 games coming up here. Like Florida, if they win, is technically in first place in the East when the cocktail party takes place a week from tomorrow. Then if Georgia wins that, Missouri shows up in Athens, and if they win, they're in first place in the East. And if Tennessee can beat Alabama, Tennessee's like, yeah, when you come to Knoxville, that could be for the East.
Georgia's not had, in this run, Georgia's faced no pressure in the SEC East throughout the entire run that they have been on.
They've won, I believe, 24 consecutive games total. Their last loss is the 2021 SEC championship game.
So those were 2 favorites.
By the way, before you move on, did you hear what Shane Beamer did after losing to the
Yeah,
Gators?
he broke his foot.
Kicked something and broke his foot. Listen, I like Shane Beamer. I think he's done a good job. He inherited a mess, took him to a bowl game in his first year. Last year, he beats Tennessee and Clemson to end the season, have an 8-win season. Okay, I think he's doing a pretty solid job. That's a bad look.
All right, those were 2 favorites that I'd taken, David. That's the last you'll hear of me taking a favorite this week. I have 3 underdogs.
What?
The first one's Tennessee, the Volunteers. Give me Tennessee in the 8.5 over Alabama. I think Alabama's going to win this game. I just don't think they win it by more than a touchdown.
You sure you're not shortchanging yourself there? I
Is
see
it
it
9?
at 9.5.
Hell. You want to give me another point? I'll take another point.
Okay.
But I think Tennessee is going to be there all day for Alabama. I don't think Alabama's offense is good enough to blow them out. I think Tennessee stays in this game. Might be a late backdoor cover, but give me the Vols in the 9.5.
All right.
I'm taking the Lions.
Wow.
They lost on a 60 whatever yard field goal last year to Baltimore. Wasn't that last year that Tucker kicked the one that went off the bar and
crossbar and went over?
Crossbar and went over.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Who's the better team in this game? Who's playing better quarterback, Jared Goff or Lamar Jackson?
Jared Goff.
Line of scrimmage, Detroit's better. Skill positions, Lions are better. I know it's 2 in a row on the road, and that scares me, but I think the Lions are the better team. Give me the Detroit Lions in 3. And fins up, baby.
Whoa!
It's time, everybody.
Whoa!
Yeah!
I'm fascinated by this game. How's Miami going to handle the pressure of the Eagles and how much they bring defensively? The big fella's back for Philadelphia. He could create havoc in the middle. Tua's got to get the ball out quickly. I think he will be able to. The matchup with the secondary, with the corners, is going to be fantastic, but no one can stop this Miami Dolphins offense. Not even the Eagles. Miami scores enough. I'm getting 2.5. I won't need it. The Dolphins win outright Sunday night in Philadelphia.
Couldn't even stop Zach Wilson last week.
Slow down over there.
Actually, they did, but 4 turnovers, I think, for the Eagles. But okay. Wow. We are in agreement on one thing. We both like the Vols and the points. If you took the names off this game and you went through the numbers on both sides of the ball, there's no way one team would be 9.5-point favorite over the other. Now, I will say Joe Milton's been bad. All right. And there is a part of me, Mark, that thinks that Joe Milton could give Alabama 7 points in this game. He's not been good. They threw for like 100 yards last week against Texas A&M. That's it. And Alabama threw for 300 against them the week before. So Joe Milton concerns me. Mark, I think there's a chance Joe Milton doesn't finish the game. Everything else about this game is very even. Both defensive lines are better than the offensive lines they're going up against. Tennessee runs the ball far more effectively than Alabama does. I think this is a low-scoring game, and because of it, I'm taking the points. Then I got a bunch of NFL games except for one college game. See, they're playing for the pig. Minnesota hasn't won in Iowa since the Clinton administration. That's 99, I think, is the last time they won in Iowa with the pig on the line. Iowa has owned this rivalry, but the games are close, very close. So that's why the spread's only 3.5. Well, that's not enough for me. So now that brings the over-under into play. And the over-under is 31.5. So it's right around 17-14 because the spread's 3.5. So that's basically what Vegas is saying. 17-14, give or take a half. Well, which way am I going to move that line? Am I going to move it 6 points down to 25? I could see this game being 14-10, 13-10. I could still lose. Or do I go the other way? I mean, do we really think these two teams are going to combine for 38 points? I mean, seriously? 21-17, 24-14? What? Are you crazy? Hell no. So here's the deal. Gophers are going to lose, but they're going to lose close because that's what PJ Fleck does in a big spot. All right, so move the Gophers up to 9.5 and move the over-under up to 37.5. And the Gophers are going to cover, and the game's going to go under. Yeah.
So I can get this up. You've got Minnesota plus 9.5.
And the under at 37.5. Right. I moved both of them up. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
my little 6 point.
You're just killing me
there.
Smalls.
Yeah.
You're killing me, Smalls.
The Giants are really bad, and the Commanders are mediocre. Shouldn't mediocre be 2.5 points better than really bad? Remember, it doesn't matter where the game's played. So what? It's in Jersey. By the way, take a look at the Giants' record at home. They've scored 3 points at home all year. So, and the Commanders are still honked off because you know what kept them out of the playoffs last year? They went 0-1-1 against the Giants. So give me the Commanders laying 2.5 on the road. Besides, Mark, it's a road favorite. Isn't that the play? All right. Green Bay, technically a road favorite in Denver. I know. I saw Jordan Love up close and personal. He's not that good. Denver's awful. And I think there's dissension and there's a problem. They're 32nd defensively. Packers coming off a bye. I think Green Bay will be better. Also, Green Bay defensively is good. They are solid. They're like top 5 in the league pass defense. They can get after Russ. All right. Green Bay is going to win this game. And it's a virtual pick 'em. I got Green Bay given 1 on the road at Denver. Okay. None of you are going to like this pick. Do you know the team that gives the Chiefs the most trouble?
The Chargers.
Thank
last
you.
5 games, they've lost by 5 or less each of the last 5 times that they play close games.
4 games ago, they beat them at Arrowhead. The last 3 games, they've lost in overtime, and last year they lost both games by a total of 3 points. They're not intimidated by them. For whatever reason, they match up well. I love the fact Herbert's coming off a bad performance. He cost them the game against Dallas. He knows it. I think Justin Herbert's going to play really well. And I don't think the Chiefs, whose defense has been outstanding this year, don't know that they have faced this. I'm getting 6. It's a huge spot for the Chargers. They lose, they fall to 2-4. Also, the Chiefs have won 12 straight division games. That's a lot. This, to me, Mark, feels a lot like last week, the Niners and the Eagles. This is a spot. No one gives the Chargers a shot. The line's 6. Mark, I think the upset's in play. I would throw a few shekels on the money line because Chargers have beat Mahomes twice at Arrowhead, by the way. Who else has gone to Arrowhead and beat Mahomes twice since he's been a starter? Give me the Chargers in the 6. And that's it, Mark. That's it. 5 picks. That's it.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Look at you playing a 2-team teaser.
They're playing for the pig. Floyd is on the line, Mark. I love this game. Then they're going to play for the axe. Then we're going to bring jugs in, trophies. This is before the Big Ten. Exactly before the Big Ten becomes the Big 24.
That's right. He said 24.
That's where they're going to go. You wait to see who they add in the next couple of years.
Couple years or couple months?
Well,
that's really the question.
I was going to say by the Masters.
So those are our picks. David and I are in agreement. Tennessee plus 9.5.
By the way, I can't wait to find out who Lee is picking. That's his game of the week. Might be going head to head.
I'm not afraid. Whatever Lee's got, we'll take him on.
Yeah.
Puff that chest out.
Yeah. So what? We're average and you make your living at it. It's one game.
Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan to talk all things NFL on the other side. So stay tuned and listen because he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
Us, well, not so much.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark, what's your record again?
Me?
Yeah. You're 2 above.
19 and 17.
Gotcha.
Hi, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I love when you once in a while agree on a pick together.
Yeah, it's usually death. Okay.
The camera guys at CBS, whenever we have everyone pick the same team, they immediately go call their bookie and bet against them. And they're talking about years of experience.
I'll tell you what, you guys need to add more. You need to add more people on that set.
Don't push them, because they will.
Can they build a bigger set?
Well, JJ's only there like 7 times a year.
No, I know, but when he's there, it's like, oh man,
he is really impressive. That guy is on it. He is going to be really, really good at this, and they know it. They can't convince him to do it full time, though. The guy likes being home with his baby.
Mm-hmm.
And that might go away in a year or two, but right now, first off, what they're really doing is preparing for the Super Bowl. A 4-hour show, multiple sets all over the place. They're developing him. They're going to develop another guy or two as well. Matt Ryan, maybe in-house. But, you know, the Super Bowl crowd is a whole different thing. In a year of the Super Bowl, we always do stuff like this. But makes my job easier. Everyone's got less to say. If you really write down by it with a stopwatch how many minutes each guy's going to talk, and they're getting smarter. They're really thinking, I gotta throw a punch when I get it, because we don't have any time to dilly-dally around here. It'll be fun to see what they want to do. I know what they want to do, but we'll see how they do. And I think a lot of the guys sit there and look around going, I wonder which one of us is gone next year. So, I've taken a poll. The camera guys know. They've been around forever. You'd be amazed. You would be amazed who they think should be off the set next year.
Well, it's different who they think should be and who will be.
I know, but they're degenerate gamblers. They're already betting on it. Crazy. Yeah, I said to him, bet on me because I feel like leaving. I'm tired of fucking traveling.
I know you are, but Cower keeps roping you back.
I said to him, Bill, don't be pushing me for another freaking contract. Let's just ride this one out and see what happens. I'm not in the mood for another commitment.
Well, you know what the problem is for you guys in the network game is the Super Bowl. It's kind of like if you're like you guys have the Super Bowl this year. If you don't end this year, then everybody looks at you and says, well, then you got to do 3 more. You got to go through our next Super Bowl or 4 more.
Right. It goes in Super Bowl cycles.
Right. Which is,
And, Sean announced his retirement.
Right. Exactly.
And so David, I know David pretty good. He doesn't really look like a guy who wants to rock the boat. He looks to me like if it's a smooth flow and he's not getting a lot of pushback from anybody, he's just going to ride with who he has.
10 seconds.
Now, if he gets direction from above,
right,
sure he'll follow it.
Here we go.
Hey, Felipe.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits in Southwest Florida 1 hour from now. But right now, it is time for Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's moving the chains. He's hardly ever on the air. It's only weekdays 3 to 7 and Saturdays 2 to 5. And then Sundays, well, he's helping produce the NFL Today on CBS. They've got the Super Bowl this year in Vegas. So at least Pat, he'll end the year with a nice low-key event, nice quiet place. He joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between Pinchers because you can't fake fresh. Hey, we got off to a terrific start. That was an entertaining game last night.
That it was. And, there was a time at 24-9 that it looked like it was over. And then New Orleans, they got a good defense, kind of shut down that O and crawl back in it. But sooner or later, Carr's got to make a play. And that's why I don't bet on the Saints too often with him. Like I never bet on the Raiders too often. And I feel bad for Moreau. He's a good guy and a drop pass. And it was kind of a disaster for him. But Jacksonville, when they were all 2-2, we thought there was a big battle. It looks to me like Jacksonville, and now is at 4 straight, are starting to pull away from the crowd a little bit, putting some pressure on everybody else in that division. So,
Pat, how big is it for Trevor Lawrence to play in a game like that last night when he's a little banged up? How much does that mean inside the locker room for Trevor to play last night?
I say the guys in the locker room there love the guy. He's the kind of person that's easy to like. And they all recognize his talent, and he's doesn't have a big ego, which is really more impressive about him. And his teammates feel like they're on an equal par with him. He goes out fishing with the guys. He's done a lot of stuff, so they like him already. Do they admire him even more? Yeah, because they know they can't win without him. Bethard was 2-10 coming into the game, so they need him. And he went out there and demonstrated his own toughness, if you will, to go along with all his talent. Yeah, I think. Look, I did not put him in the top 10 quarterbacks that could win a Super Bowl, and he was 11th. But I'm just waiting for him to have multiple games like this, and he's starting to do it. He's starting to look like a guy that can dominate the NFL.
Pat, those in and around the Jags feel that the Buffalo game was a turning point, that was, going up against Josh Allen and obviously what the Bills bring, and that he just played a very high level, effective game without the big mistake. And he, had an interception overruled last night. He played really well against the Colts. He has put 3 games together that are maybe not top 5 quarterback in the league, but certainly get you in the top 8 and approaching the top 5.
Yeah, he's definitely the arrow's pointing up, as we like to say when we're writing a report on a guy. And I think all you're asking for is more of them. The great ones do it a lot, and he needs to do it a lot, and he needs to win whatever big games are on their schedule. And you can cite all those, David, in a second. Like, those are the ones, and he needs to win the games when the quarterback on the other side of the field is as good as him. And if you find those games and he does win those games, he then goes into the elite status.
And he's 1-1 in those games this year, losing to the Chiefs, but beating the Bills. They've got the Niners and the Bengals amongst the others still on their schedule.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, let's get into some of the games this week because it is an interesting week in the NFL. I want to start, quite frankly, with the Dolphins, a team that we talk about the most on this show. The Dolphins and the Eagles. And it is going to be a contrast in styles. Philadelphia is so brutal on each side of the line of scrimmage. How does Miami handle that, Pat?
Yeah, there's 4 games that I love this weekend. This is one of the best of them all. Felipe is going to be excited because I'm taking the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, Pat.
Yeah, I knew I could get you out of that cave you're in back there.
Come on now. Mark took the Dolphins too.
Hey, I'm taking the Dolphins. The offense, and part of it is Philadelphia. Have they felt dynamic to you guys? Do they feel like they're sparked up and ready to roll like they did last year? I don't see it. Now, they are playing well at home. Last 4 home games, 31 points a game, but 31 points would intimidate me about any opponent except the Dolphins. Those guys, and it's not cold. I checked that right away. It's not going to be freezing cold up there. It's not going to be windy. It's not an elements game. So I think there's enough firepower. I don't like the Miami defense very much in big moments, and Buffalo game proved that. But if you like Fangio, and I do, you just keep giving him time. He's figuring it out. They're not going to be the reason they win, ever. But I think they can hold on long enough to make this thing happen. So I like them. I can get specific on things I like about them. But when you have the kind of speed they have on the field and Tyreek Hill, and they use them the right way, and we all thought that the running back situation, I never feared when Mostert had to be the bell cow and they couldn't split it with A-Chain. I thought he'd be great as he was. He was over 5 yards a carry. So they got a running game. They got a quarterback that hasn't been hit. Only one team hit him. So really, to take Philadelphia, I'd have to convince myself that they're going to sack Tua 4 or more times. And since I don't see that, he does not lose when he's being sacked once and twice. And I don't think Philadelphia is going to get to him 4 times. Now, Hassan Reddick will get there once or twice, but I don't think they'll get to 4.
Interesting, because it's why deep down I think Philly is going to win this game. That the only team not only to beat Miami, but the reason they beat them was Buffalo's D-line overwhelmed the Dolphins' offensive line when it really mattered. Dolphins moved the ball a lot, but once they got close to scoring range, the Bills were able to make a play. You don't think the Eagles' defense at home will get stops?
Oh, they'll get stops, but I have a number. If it's not 4, they're not losing. You have to get them on the ground 4 times. Because the one thing I'd say that's easy to understand with the Dolphins is if the ball comes out of Tua's hand, you're in a lot of trouble. Because if he hands off or throws the ball, every time that ball is released by him, their offense is better than the defense they're playing. So unless you get him on the ground with the ball in his hand, they're going to score enough points to beat you.
From the defensive side for Miami, what's Fangio do to slow down Philadelphia, who, as you just mentioned, is averaging 31 at home?
Well, it's not the same as Lamar, but you got to corral the quarterback, because the more intense the game gets, the closer it is, the more they have to win, and they may be losing, the more Jalen will try to take over. And he's strong and powerful and all that stuff, but you got to get him to be a pocket thrower. I'm not saying he's bad at it, but you got to keep him corralled, and you can't let him take over athletically, which is what he does. So he knows that part of it. And I think when you have guys like that, you cannot let your outside contain rushers do anything but contain. And you got to work it from the inside. So it's not easy. I don't think this is a low scoring game. I actually think 50 points is, 52 points, 52 and a half? I think it's low. I think this is an over all the way.
Ooh. Ooh, boy, NBC will be happy about that. I'm guessing one of the other games on your short list there is Detroit at Baltimore.
You ain't kidding. I love this game. I've gone over this with you guys before. I'm taking Detroit in the game. They're getting a couple points. I don't care about that. I'm not in the betting business, but that's even better for them. Just knowing how Dan Campbell talks to his football team. Any chance he can convince his guys they see us as an underdog, he knows the speech to give, and they listen. A year or two from now, they won't. They'll be mature and everything else, but they're young and they believe in Dan. And Dan will be playing the tune to we're the underdogs here. But here's why I will not take Baltimore. It's very clean for me. They haven't played a quarterback like Goff. There's no chance they have. And we've talked about it before, but go through who he played. It's not a pretty sight. He gets Stroud. This is Baltimore. They get Stroud for his first game ever in the NFL. The next week, they get an injured Burrow. Remember week 2 when he couldn't walk and he tried to play and he did? Week 3, they get Minshew. Week 4, they got the rookie from Cleveland who hasn't seen the light of day since then. Then they get Pickett, and then they get Tannehill. They have not been challenged by the way Goff can challenge you. And I think Goff is maybe the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. I think Goff goes in there and has his way. That defense, when it was summertime, we were talking about that secondary like, man, it's not as good as it used to be. And they have not been exposed, but they will by Goff. By Goff.
And they're going to have to throw it because they don't really have a running game this week, do they, Pat?
No, you know what? Sometimes that's the blessing in disguise. It's nice to think we should be balanced, but on certain Sundays, I would be doing what they're going to do. Going there. And they play defense. And Lamar, look, he's exactly what I said he was going to be the first week of the season. He's still Lamar, and he's going to run. He's at 10 runs a game. So here's the problem, and this is why it's a little scary to take Detroit. Baltimore with Lamar against NFC teams that never see him. 14-1 the last 15 times. It's very hard to replicate Lamar at practice all week. But Lamar's not running the way he was. Last week, I saw him stop a number of times. He couldn't get around the corner. I think they'll slow him down enough.
I'm surprised that Baltimore offensively has not been better this year. I think very highly of the offensive coordinator they brought in. I know when you're trying to change your offense, it's like changing your defense. Sometimes it can take a while, half a season, 2/3, 3/4 of a season. I just thought with the talent they had on offense, they would be better than they've been.
Because, well, first off, the offense that came to them was tight end oriented, which is what they were anyway, right? Mark Andrews is the number one guy he looks for. The whole thing they worked on all summer with the short passing game, the quick out stuff, the read pass over to Odell, it's nice. And it sounds like it's okay, but when they got to throw the ball down the field, Lamar still has a hard time doing it and still has a hard time being patient in the pocket. So you're right. But what I thought then, and I know now, is that coach has to adapt to Lamar because Lamar's not that guy. And so already they're back to what they look like before.
A couple of underdogs that Pat likes in Miami and Detroit in the two games that we've already talked about. Pat, we're running short on time, but 60 seconds. Bucks and Falcons. What do you like about Tampa Bay this week?
I like that. Well, I talk to Todd every week, and I like his demeanor about his football team. He knows what he's got in Baker. He's very inspirational to those players. And I think that I went back and forth in this game because I like Arthur and where he's going. But they're on the road. I'm not taking them on the road until they show me they can win on the road, and they haven't done it. It's okay to be 0-4, which is the story for the young quarterback, Ritter, but they only score 10 points a game on the road. I am not taking them. I'll take that Tampa Bay defense and Baker making a couple of plays.
I know we're up against a hard break here. I'm just wondering how much longer Arthur Smith sticks with Ritter. I mean, if he's losing this game, you sure you don't bring Heineke off the bench to try to, rally the forces here? This is a big spot for the Falcons. We'll talk more of the NFL with Pat Kirwan on the other side. Miller and Moulton. Pat, brought to you by Pinchers here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
What's new, Mark?
Same old stuff. You know, just the Mr. Mom this time of year, running around from gymnastics to soccer.
Yeah.
Trying to watch as much football as I can.
Yep. You squeezing in 18 a day?
No, I'm playing today. It's be the first time I played in a week. I got asked to sit on this the Horizon Council. It's like the top business owners in Lee County. They have a sports part of it, and they asked me to sit on the board. So usually I play on Wednesdays, but this week was the Horizon Council meeting where I sitting off. My goal is to bring a bowl game to Southwest Florida. It's the only reason I'm doing this.
There you go. Well, knowing you, you're going to figure out how to build some relationships with guys you don't know yet and get something going. I'm proud of you for doing it. You'll figure it out. Someone's got a deal out there that you can't get your hands on it.
Exactly.
I know. You think I thought about anyone in my life except you when I see a stone crab in a store? I'm right past that fish market. Listen, I see one. I go, goddamn, Mark, where the hell are these?
I know.
Oh, I used to love getting them. Well, it was sunny when we started talking, and these clouds rolled in with a fog, and now it's raining.
What are you in Florida?
I'm upstate New York at the lake house. I'm getting out of here as soon as the show's over. As soon as we're done, I'm in a car and driving to Jersey.
Shutting it down for the year?
Not yet. No, not yet. Next week I'm up here, and then the week after I'm starting my Florida commute. And I got to stay in New York the week of Thanksgiving because we got a game on Thursday. There's no reason to fly home and come back. So that's the week I wrap the house up. I can usually capture 1 or 2 grandkids to come up here and do some of the heavy lifting. Oh, you want to go to the lake? Yes. Little they know when we get here, you're not doing anything but work.
They don't mind. I love that stuff with my grandfather going up north and working on stuff there. I actually love it. You're saying that, and I'm just getting a smile on my face of my grandfather having me sweep pole barns and do all kinds of stuff, and that's the best, man.
Yep, they love it too. Funny story. We got 30 seconds.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sitting here yesterday doing my show, looking out the window. I've got a flower pot. I got a little deck right in front of where I do the show here, and I got a flower pot. It's full of flowers, begonias, I think. So a squirrel comes over and he jumps up on the table. He digs a hole in the flower pot and buries like a couple of acorns. And then he jumps off and he runs to the front yard and up the tree. I'm watching him. 10 seconds after he's gone, another squirrel comes from behind and jumps up on the table, digs a hole, and takes the nuts and goes in the backyard. the squirrel burglar. I could not believe how funny it looked. He was trailing this guy around and digging up his stuff. It was like hysterical. People cheating all over the world, even the squirrels.
Yep.
I had 10 deer in my yard this morning when I got up to do the show. 10 of them. And I went out, I kind of stormed out the door to make them move because they like to eat the shrubs. And they just looked at me like, we know you're getting in that car and leaving.
Did you ever
You've never shot us.
Yeah. I feel like if I had a machine gun, I would have taken the whole herd down.
You ever feed them? Like my dad, he had a place in the northwestern part of Jersey for a short time, and he used to put the big salt cube out.
Yeah,
for them.
They love that. That's why they were on the side of the roads, because they salt the roads all winter, with the snow, and then that salt is all on the side grass, and they're licking the minerals. They're licking that grass all summer. So that's one of the problems with driving in the dark up here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your dad was up around where the bears are. There's a lot of bears up by where he was.
My dad had a place for a short time with his second wife, she's a nasty woman, in Califon, Jersey. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The part of Jersey that nobody knows about.
Yeah, where the ski mountain is.
Yep.
It's beautiful up there.
Yep.
I got to go through that to get up here when I come from Jersey. Get on Route 17 and all that stuff. And cut across.
10 seconds.
All right, Felipe, this is our last chance to be friends. If I'm wrong on this, I'm never talking to you again.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5. And then he helps produce the NFL Today Show on CBS on Sunday. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, a dozen locations in between Pinchers because you can't fake fresh. All right, you had said you had 4 games on your radar. We went through 2, Dolphins, Eagles, and Lions, Ravens. What are the other 2?
Well, we did go through Atlanta, Tampa. That's on my list because, it's a division game and you could land up in first place if you win the game. So that's on it. And the last one is a bit of an odd game for most people, but not for me. Pittsburgh at the Rams. I like this football game, and I like a lot of things about Pittsburgh coming off a bye. Mike is not Andy Reid off a bye, but he's pretty good at it, 12-4, I think. And I just want to see progress for Pickett. And I think I will see progress for Pickett. And without running backs in the Ram country, it comes down to Stafford throwing. And I do believe there's only 3 teams I think can win by playing defense. I mean, the offense doesn't show up. They're still good enough to beat you at defense. The Steelers are one of those teams. And I think they know they're going to get the green light to get after Stafford all game long. And I think they're going to cause some problems for him. So winning with defense again is where I think this game is going. But I don't know if you guys even like the game, but Stafford's ratio for being sacked is 1 every 15 passes, and I think you're going to see, and in the last 4 games, it's even worse than that. He has to throw, and it sets up great for the Steelers.
And Mark, boy, will it be a home game for the Steelers in Los Angeles.
Man.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, you put the sack number on Tua that, the Eagles have to hit him get him down 4 times. You don't think they will. Is it a similar type thing with Stafford? Because those receivers now with cutback and the other guy, the rookie there that's playing so well, I mean, they've been able to throw the football around. How many times does Pittsburgh have to get him down, in your opinion?
I think it's a different, there's no number with him the way I feel about Tua, but I think the Steelers know he's throwing. What do they have? Multiple running backs, and the young kid who's a very good back, he's not playing. So I think it's pretty easy to see it's going to be 70% pass, maybe 75% pass. And they defend the pass with pass rush, not so much with coverage. I wish they probably would feel better if they could, but I just think they're going to hit Stafford a lot, hit him, and maybe force that darn Watt it's fun having his brother. I get a chance to sit with his brother quite a bit last 2 weeks, just talking about what he's really all about. He's not just trying to sack you. He always wants the football. He's always looking to strip the ball. If you look at Highsmith, whose numbers aren't big yet, but those two guys combined, 10 sacks, 22 quarterback hits, 9 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. That's where I think this game gets turned into Steelers' favor. But I saw, Mark, you were happy I picked this game, and it's just an interesting game to me because I don't think many people were going to want to play. And can you imagine Pittsburgh wins this game and they're in first place in the division? Nobody. Remember when we thought they were going to come in last in the division? They're hanging around for a while.
Well, and I think we're in agreement. The 3 teams whose offense cannot show up and they can still win are the Jets, the Browns, and the Steelers.
Yes, sir. And after that, can you find a fourth one? Because I can't.
No, not yet.
No,
Not
but
yet.
I do love what Kansas City's defense has been playing like this year with that offense. I mean, from a complimentary standpoint, I love where Kansas City's defense is because they can now – I don't know if they can win with defense, Pat, but they can compete with defense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's why I'll take Kansas City in their game with the Chargers.
All right, there are 5 1-5 teams. 4 of them are actually at home. Arizona is the one that's on the road. They're in Seattle, and it's probably not going to be a good day for them. But Denver at home against Green Bay, Chicago at home against the Raiders, Patriots at home for the Bills, Giants at home for the Commanders. Do any of these down and out teams get a W?
The only one I'll take is Chicago, and I'll tell you why. They're playing better on defense. And I know people in Chicago that believe, you ready for this? They got a better chance with Bagent than they were having with Fields. And I know Tyson Bagent. And he may not be ready to play all the time, but this kid is going to be a good player. I remember reporting to you guys after the Senior Bowl, and then he doesn't get drafted. But where's he land up? He lands up with the coach who had him at the Senior Bowl, Big Luke. So they like a lot of things he can do. And yesterday when the kid said, do not reduce the package, don't take any plays out, I can handle the whole thing. He is a very interesting young player. And don't hold Shepard against him. He could have gone in the portal and left, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't leave his teammates behind at Shepard. And he said, if I'm any good, they'll find me. Well, the Bears found him. They made him the number 2 right away. And now he's going to start. And he may be starting for 3 or 4 weeks, according to Dr. Chow. I like them. I don't like any of the other ones. You can give me every other team. I'll take Washington. I'll take Green Bay, all that. But I am going to take the Bears in this game. They're playing against Hoyer. He hasn't won a game since 2016.
Wait, hold on. Do we know they're playing against Hoyer? McDaniel said, at least he told the Monday Night Football crew, that Hoyer was his in-game number 2. If Garoppolo's active, Hoyer's the number 2. But if Garoppolo can't play, he's going O'Connell as the starter, Hoyer is the 2.
I don't know that to be true. But if it's true, and I like Aiden. I think Aiden's got Tom Brady qualities to his style, but they'll get after him. Okay. And now it's going to be a quarterback, 2 young rookie quarterbacks, and no one, my crew didn't even know who Bagent was. And we had to have a conversation about that.
So I'm curious just who McDaniel's going with. And, for bad on me that I don't know. But that's just what he publicly had said, 2 weeks ago, that's how he was handling his number 2 quarterback, depending on Garoppolo's status.
Well, I'm going to find out who took the reps in practice. That's pretty simple. I don't think Hoyer really wants to be out on the field all the time. He came back to help develop O'Connell. He did not come back to play all the time. I remember when I had to ask Frank Reich to play for like 14 weeks. He wasn't happy about that.
What's it going to take for Justin Herbert to win a big game?
Well, I heard you guys earlier. He had the one guy that's gone into Kansas City and won is him. But they're up against, and you said it, Mark, the Kansas City defense is significantly better. If you look at the first 6 games last year and now the first 6 this year, they're giving up 10 less points a game. So they're better than a touchdown better on defense. I think it's going to be hard for him here. And at the end of the day, to answer your question directly, a better defense is what what he needs to win games.
Well, the reason why I like them is not only their history against the Chiefs, but he played badly last week. He cost his team a game last week. He had touchdowns, easy throws that were touchdowns that he missed against Dallas. He knows he cost his team a game. And if they lose, they're in trouble. I just think that whatever the Chargers have in the tank, Pat, the Chiefs get.
I don't think you're wrong on that. And you're really painting a picture of desperation, which is fine. It's a good picture to paint. But I go look at just Kelsey. Some obvious. First off, Andy Reid, dominating the West like there's no tomorrow. But go look at Kelsey against these Chargers and tell me how they deal with that thing. He is on the field for a 15-2 record. Yes, the 2 happen to be against these guys, but way over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. They have not figured him out. Now, I love that they got McCole Hardman back. Then they'll get Frank Clark back this week, and then the party's on.
He's Pat Kirwan. Joins us twice a week, courtesy of Pinchers, with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, as always, we appreciate it. Enjoy the games this week, my friend.
Well, my friends, have a good time and enjoy your college football. I don't have time for that. The way my world is. I'll start watching those guys in December.
Yeah.
Be good.
You'll watch film in the winter when you need to start doing your draft preps. He's Pat Kirwan, joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, here on Miller and Moulton. Joe Zagacki, the longtime voice of the Canes. That stuff that Pat doesn't have time for. He is next. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East
See you,
Trail,
boys.
locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, remember, Mr. Traffic, it's not our studio. We're renting it. So, if he puts something up on the bulletin board, he'd have to take it down every day. Can't trust that it would stay there.
I know what I need. I need the George Gervin poster with the Iceman poster. That's what I need.
That's outstanding.
Oh man, that or the Jordan.
No.
Big fan. No.
I'm not a Jordan guy.
Because Detroit,
right?
Detroit.
Been a while since we talked to Joe. I think it was before A&M, right?
Right before the A&M game. Yep. Because that's when he got mad at me when I asked about Van Dyke.
I don't know if did he get mad at you?
Didn't like the question.
Okay.
Zagacki is on hold.
Awesome.
The Hurricanes have won the football game. Love Joe.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until we're done along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits for the 239 at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thrilled to be joined once again by Joe Zagacki. 35 years he's been broadcasting Miami Hurricanes sports, over 20 as the lead play-by-play voice. Joe, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. Good morning. How are you? Is Joe there?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's another adventure tomorrow against Clemson. And it has been an adventure this year because the ups and downs of Miami. But when they're at their best, Joe, obviously this is a really good football team. They're going to have that against Clemson.
No question. When they're at their best, which I thought was, it's been sporadic. It was against Texas A&M, and really probably for 3 quarters against Carolina, at least offensively. In a Carolina game, the first quarter, they averaged 7 yards a play, over 7 yards a play in the second quarter, over 8 yards a play in the fourth quarter, and 2 yards a play in the third quarter with back-to-back turnovers. But really, you boil this down to, obviously they had the decision against Georgia Tech that was messed up. And then it's turnovers and penalties. They are averaging 70 yards a game in penalties. They are 108th in the country in penalties. If there was one area that I thought Coach Cristobal would really clean up, it was going to be penalties. And I think it's a combination of, the penalties I think are a combination of things. And some of it is self-inflicted. And some of it's been in the program forever. The personal fouls, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties often are subjective penalties. And they're going to have to figure out in this program that there's a certain way you can play in the league. And you better play that way. Keontre Smith last week, Miami's off the field on a third down play. They're going to get the ball probably at the worst midfield. Carolina's going to punt in the back of their end zone. The guy, it's going to be his second punt of his career. And Smith, he shoulders a guy going off the field and puts his hand in the face mask of a Carolina player. Now, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe they looked the other way, but not now. you just can't play that way. It's killing them. Absolutely killing them.
Listen, if I could just go a quick sidebar before we get back to the Canes. You saw Drake May up close. What do you think? They're talking, top 2, 3 pick in the draft. Your thoughts?
Yeah, if there's a team out there, what was it for the Dolphins slogan, Tank for Tua? I don't know. Mayday for May? He's good. He's really good. Best I've seen in a while. Mobile, smart, poised. Miami hit him as hard as he's been hit probably in his career last week in the 2 years that he's played. When he steps up into a pass, he's really accurate, especially on the deep ball, hitting guys on the run. He did not. I kept thinking Miami's going to keep hitting him, especially the Cam Kitchens hit almost broke him in half, but he didn't back down. He's fast. He can run. I think I haven't seen Caleb Williams in person for USC, but I think that's going to be a very interesting. I think most people think that Caleb Williams is the number one guy. I think Drake May is going to put a lot of pressure on teams to get that first pick because he's really mobile, makes great decisions. So I thought he was good. By far, the best that Miami has played.
Joe, the Canes have had no problem scoring. The offense has been incredibly productive. Van Dyke's one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the country with his numbers and QBR and all that kind of stuff. But what do they have to do defensively to stop Clemson? Because you've talked about the penalties, but they've been vulnerable to give up points. So what do they have to do defensively against Clemson on Saturday, Joe?
Yeah, well, that kind of goes hand in hand, though.
Yeah.
The metrics say if you give up a 15-yard penalty, you're giving up a touchdown. So I don't know how many times they've given up. I feel like a lot of those 15-yard penalties have led to touchdowns. Now, it's just not that. I do think that going in, they thought their weakness probably was going to be on the corner. That's why they brought in so many different recruits and transfer portal guys at corner. I think they believed that James Williams and Cam Kitchens would protect the back end. Quite frankly, since he's come back from his injury, Cam Kitchens has been hot and cold. He makes a lot of tackles, but when you're the last line of defense, you make one false step, you're giving up points, and he's kind of done that a couple of times for Miami on the back end. So that would be one. They're kind of counting on their pressure getting to the quarterback. Well, Carolina, they only needed a couple of plays. That's the problem with that theory of hitting the quarterback before they beat you on the scoreboard is it only takes a couple. And in Miami's case, you had one against Georgia Tech and, 2 third down and forevers against Carolina, 3 long touchdowns, and you lose games. But specifically against Clemson, if I had to rate the quarterbacks that Miami's faced so far, probably come back to bite me in the ass, but it's Drake May. Then I think the kid Wigman from Texas A&M is the second best, with the kid from Georgia Tech not far behind, and Klubnik, who's a 5-star number 1 or 2 dual threat quarterback. It doesn't seem to me that they trust him a lot. So for Miami, I think it is defense. It's stop their run game, Clemson's run game, take the ball away. In 2 years, Clemson, the last 2 years, they've turned the ball over 35 or 36 times. So Miami's got to take the ball away and then put the game on Klubnik's shoulders. Make him, throw the ball down the field. They don't want to do that. Tyler Brown's a really good receiver, but he's 18 years old. So you got to win that matchup if you're Miami. You can't let a freshman wide receiver do to you what Tez Walker did to Miami last week. So stop the run, put it on Klubnik, and take the ball away.
He's Joe Zagacki. He's the voice of the Miami Hurricanes, and he's kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. You can follow Joe on Twix, Twitter/X, at Canes Voice, Canes Voice. This is strange, some of what I'm going to throw out there. First off, it's 8 years since Miami even hosted Clemson. That seems difficult to imagine. The last 4 meetings, the Canes have been outscored like 44-7 on average against Clemson. And is it true? Mario's yet to win a home conference game, right?
That's correct. All of those things are true. And it's rained in every game the Miami's played this year. Not that it makes a difference. Every game it's rained. It was beautiful. First of all, in Carolina last week, it rained all day. Then at kickoff, it was beautiful. At halftime, Miami goes with the lead at 17-14. There's a torrential downpour at halftime, and it's like, hello, but the rain changed everything, or Miami was kidnapped by their evil twins. I don't know which one, but yes, all of those things that you just said are true. And tomorrow, it's supposed to be a beautiful night in paradise, so I'm hoping the stars will align for Miami to take the ball away from Clemson, smash their running game, and then not have the quarterback get killed because Clemson's front seven is ferocious. And right, they have not played Clemson here since Clemson got Al Golden fired, which is
8 years.
Leads me to a discussion of a way that I could, somewhat bash the ACC because this conference is backwards.
In what way? Oh, the fact that it's been 8 years.
Well, I mean, they want great television matchups. They want great matchups in the league. Yet Miami and Clemson. Miami now has gone to Clemson. They played them twice at Clemson, but one was because of COVID, so they kind of finagled the schedule. But for Miami fans not to see Clemson in 8 years, I think is kind of ridiculous.
Oh, there's no doubt.
They've seen Syracuse one time in the league. One time. They've seen Syracuse fans have never seen Miami in the league. How about that?
Boy, and they used to be in the same conference together. And
then, you get me into the way they schedule things. I mean, really, I look at the orange and green. I got that. I'm guilty of that. But if I'm the league and I want Miami to be great, because I need them to be great, because I turn on televisions, I don't know what the ratings were for last week. I'd be curious to see how Miami and Carolina did against USC and Notre Dame. But is it really beneficial for Miami to play Clemson after Clemson's had a bye week and Miami played at North Carolina?
He's Joe Zagacki. Will things be different tomorrow night for the Canes in conference at home against Clemson? There's a lot of things that Miami needs to turn around tomorrow. And Joe, we'll let you have the last word. The significance of the game tomorrow for this coach, this program, and where they are.
Well, for the near term, for the remainder of this year, the significance of tomorrow's game would be a victory would ignite Miami, would ignite everything down here. It would keep them maybe not so much in the race for the ACC championship because they got 2 losses in the conference. It would save their season. It would help make their season. At the end of the year, you stick your chest out and say, hey, we beat Clemson. We've made significant progress. This is a championship program you're playing, 11 straight years of 10 or more wins. So a win over Clemson is highly significant. A loss to Clemson and 3 straight losses, then I know what the response is. And the response is same old, same old. Nothing's changed. So back to the drawing board. Things are changing, probably not quick enough. The reality is things are changing. The roster is changing. More high-profile recruits are coming in. That eventually is going to change the program. But those high-profile recruits coming in aren't going to help Miami tomorrow. And some of the high-profile recruits that they have on this roster that are freshmen probably aren't going to help tomorrow. So what's going to help tomorrow is really good decisions by coaching and players and protecting the ball. High value of the football tomorrow.
And Tyler Van Dyke hooking up with Xavier Restrepo a few times. That will help tomorrow as well. Joe, thanks so much for your time. All the best. Have a great call. And hopefully we can talk to you again before the Knowles game.
Fellas, anytime. Anything for you guys.
Appreciate that. Joe Zagacki. Canes Voice is how you follow him. 35 years calling Canes sports, 22 as the lead voice on the football games.
He sounds frustrated. I mean, it sounds like he feels that this team is hurting itself, and it's true, obviously, in the Georgia Tech game, a little bit in the North Carolina game, but you can hear it in his voice that he's like, man, could be an undefeated football team right now.
And they got to get over the hump. I will say, and I know we've drawn the comparisons with the Gators and Norvell with Florida State, but if you look at Mario year 2, Mike's year 3, because he had a COVID situation last year. Remember, they started out 4-0, had a 3-game losing streak, and then won a game against a quality opponent, and they haven't lost since. Okay, Mario needs that type of W. Can it come tomorrow? Because I do think that Miami's not that far away. Now, replacing Van Dyke, could be a tall order. You can put 20 other guys out there. He's pretty damn good. You need someone like him. Okay, but you know what I'm getting at, Mark. They need, Mark, 178-30 the last 4 times Clemson and Miami have played. 178-30.
And this is not a good Clemson. This is a good Clemson team, but it's not a great Clemson team. This is a beatable Clemson team.
Yes. What's the spread? 3?
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, by the way, if we had said Miami was only going to be a 3-point dog to Clemson, what would you have thought? You would have thought Miami would be 5-1, 6-0, right? So
instead, both teams with 2 losses, and this is save the season time really for each. And does Miami have it to get it done?
Van Dyke's banged up, expected to play, but banged up. Mario has not won an ACC home game. I know he's only
ends Saturday.
What?
That ends Saturday.
Look at you. Penn State over Ohio State. Miami's beating Clemson. Have you fallen and hit your head? You never pick stuff like this. That's my job.
I like the Canes.
Look at you.
Who has the best quarterback?
Miami.
And in a close game, I'm going to take the best quarterback. And he's at home.
Okay. I think Clemson is the much better defense, and they have the better coach. But I hear what you're saying. Okay. Joe said it. He said they need to put the pressure on the quarterback, put the game in his hands, and make him lose it. Miller and Moulton. Hey, thanks for listening along the network. The bonus hour's next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, Wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh. We do NFL picks here, right?
Yep.
Felipe, did you find out the news slogans?
Yeah, what's NBC2's news slogan? He doesn't know. And it's not on their webpage either.
What?
I didn't go to work yesterday. It's not fair.
It was just a text.
You had one
just need to
job.
Text somebody.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us. 6 to 9, we're along the Florida Sports Network, but 9 to 10, baby, it's just Southwest Florida, our home, our longtime home. And we thank you for that, very much so. Good, bad, and ugly, what's on tap? Today was the day when, all about 35 or so minutes away as we wind up not just the show, but the week. It's been another good week. If you've missed any of it, a lot of guests. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com and download what it is you missed, like Lee Sterling and his picks, Pat Kirwan and his insight, and last segment, we just had Joe Zagacki, longtime voice of the Canes.
And if you're looking to sponsor any one of these segments, with the exception of the Diamond District bonus hour, it's available to you. Jason and Todd have been very kind to us. They are the sponsors of this hour. I feel as if I should have been in their store this week buying something that I met my wife a couple days ago, 15 years ago, this week. Probably should have been in the Diamond District to pick something up to commemorate that, but I didn't. She didn't expect anything, so I'm off the hook until the anniversary.
Do you guys celebrate meeting day?
No, I just happened to notice it. I believe it or not, I was on Facebook and it, put your history on there, and I had made mention of it a few years back. I'm like, I'll be damned. We met today 15 years ago, earlier this week.
Did you have a good first meeting? And the reason I asked that question, and it sounds silly, is because the day I met my wife, she threatened to mace me.
Right. And mine was very much the opposite of your meeting.
Okay.
I met her at Bow Campers. I don't even think it's not even there anymore. I don't know if is that one still there. I don't know in Naples, but the Naples one, I think that's gone too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of those are gone. But it was a Saturday night. It was a college football night. And I went to meet a bunch of friends to watch. The big game that night was Wisconsin against Ohio State. And there happened to be a Mississippi State-Florida game that Mississippi State won. And those games were going on, and my wife was there to watch the Penguins game in October.
Wow.
And when they turned the little TV off, the one of the hundreds of televisions that they had there, and they switched her game from the hockey game to the Florida game, and she kind of did a WTF. And one of the waiters, who I know, happened to be like, "What do you mean? It's the sixth game of the season." She's like, "It's the third game of the season." She's, "It's the sixth game of the season." And a friend of mine overheard it and walked up to her and looked at her and said, "So you like hockey?" And she had an I Heart Penguins shirt on. And she's like, "Really?" And he said to her, and Chad Rexford's the guy's name, and Chad said to her, "What do you got? Tell me what you got to offer in 60 seconds or less." And as she tells the story, she looked at Chad, and Chad had a wedding ring on, so she wasn't threatened by him. And she kind of said what she did and who she is. She says, and he looked at her and he says, "I'll be right back. Stay right there. Don't move." And I was in the middle of the story. I just come back when I was going out to Oregon fishing. I just come back from my Oregon fishing trip, and I was talking to another guy who's a big fisherman, and he was wanting to hear all about the fishing on the Deschutes River. And Rex came up to me and he's like, "I got to introduce you to someone." I'm like, "I'm talking to Buddha about fishing." He's like, "I don't care." And he grabbed me and he pulled me basically across the bar. And he said, "Eve, this is Mark. Mark, this is your next wife." And then kind of backed me in where I had nowhere to go. So we had to talk. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a story. Hi, how you doing? And
hi. And
we hit it off. He was right. I ended up marrying that woman. So it is a great story.
That's a little
different. Not try
different.
to mace me.
Well, that's good. Has she, by the way, from then to now, has she tried to mace you?
No.
Even better. Okay. All right. By the way, our Twitch chat room says that's a Hallmark movie moment.
Yeah, maybe that moment is. I don't know about the rest of it.
I love the fact we both met our wives in a bar. Because everybody says, you never meet anybody in a bar. I don't know. It just
worked out well for me.
Yeah, it worked out well for me too.
Hold on. I met my girlfriend at a bar.
See?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
See?
Maybe you got to make it to the Diamond District before the holidays.
Take it easy.
I don't know. Her parents love you, supposedly. Your parents love her. I mean, that's half the battle right there, Felipe.
A lot of love going around. It's all love.
You know, it's funny. I always thought that was crap. The whole, what the parents thought of you. I did. I just thought it was crap.
Well, I mean,
I'm not surprised.
Listen, David, I get where your head's at because it shouldn't affect the way that you two feel about each other. However, it helps.
Well,
a lot.
Yeah, it does. And I didn't realize it until I married my college sweetheart. And they never liked me. So much so they wouldn't pay for the wedding. I mean, that's a clue, by the way.
That's a tell, David. I don't know if you play poker. That's that is the tell.
No, I knew they weren't crazy about me. I knew that they preferred that she not be involved with me. But I didn't know it was to that degree. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why have I been nice to you all these years then? I mean, man. So, and it plays a role. It does. I'll tell you what, it plays a role whenever things are not good. Because if she calls home, talks to family, what's she going to get? Okay? It's like when you're down on your team. And all of a sudden, somebody who wants to be glass half full about your team turns to you and says, I don't know, I kind of like him. Oh, for goodness sakes, he throws the interception right in the clutch time. They never win a big game. What are you talking about? We got to get rid of him.
That's a Bears fan trying to be positive about anything right now.
Right. There you go. And that's what, basic. Mark, I didn't realize this, but I just, wow. So apparently it's like news and sports talk radio when you think about it. Okay. If you're on the good side, it's nothing but propaganda, baby. Nothing but propaganda. You could lose your job. You could have $12 in the bank. Nope. He don't worry about it. Things will be good. Okay. He's a good guy. He's a good man. He loves you. Okay. And it'll be fine. Things will work out. Everybody goes through tough times. Okay. If it's the other way, you could be successful, the whole deal, got your act together. I don't know. Something about him. I just don't like him. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Can't win big with him. I wouldn't go the distance with him. Nope. Nope. Not a championship quarterback. No, you got to, no. I know you can win a lot of games with him, but no, you can't. No, can't win the final game of the year with him. That's come to think of it. It's really what this is.
All right. Enough on relationships. Let's get into some NFL games. We kind of got to go rapid fire here over the next few segments.
We're much better at relationships than we are picking NFL games. What are you serious? I mean, come on.
Really? We're both 1-1.
Yeah, I know. It was a big W, though. It's a big W. It's a big W.
500.
It's a big win, though. No. That's a win over your arch rival. Okay. I mean, the loss is a non-conference loss. Okay. Don't get me wrong. It was painful.
You. I mean, you got out of it with no kids. I have a kid. It's a conference loss, no matter how you slice it.
That's true. That's true. You had 2 big conference games a year. You went 1-1, right? I just had one.
I definitely beat Michigan.
Right, but you lost to.
I think I lost the Land Grant Trophy in the first one.
Well, if you're going to lose a Big Ten trophy, that's not the worst one to lose. All right, fine. Pick a game.
Well, start with Miami and Philadelphia. I already picked Miami in my Fantastic Five, which David stuck to this week, ironically. You can get those picks at floridasportsnetwork.com. But I have got the Dolphins winning in Philadelphia. Do you agree with me, David?
I do not. No, I think that they will struggle at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I do think that the Eagles will get at least 3 sacks of Tua. Dolphins will have their moments, though. Like, I could see them having 4 really quick, successful drives and struggling the whole rest of the game. I like the Eagles 34-28.
Be a hell of a game. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I think the Bucs take care of business at home until Atlanta can win on the road. This is just kind of like a lot of games we've been talking about. Prove it to me, Atlanta, and they haven't done so yet.
Ritter finally lost a home game and has never won a road game. Now, granted, he's only 0-4, but still, until they do. Also, I like the way that the Bucs responded the last time they lost at home to a really good team. They played really well and beat New Orleans. So now they have another division opponent. Also, I believe in Baker Mayfield. I've always believed in Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker plays 2 bad games in a row. Also, I don't think Mike Evans drops 2 third-down catches that would have resulted in first downs 2 weeks in a row. I like the Bucs.
Give Indy any shot at home against Cleveland?
Sure, because the Browns are playing who at quarterback? Oh, yeah, this could be a rock fight. Absolutely. Yes, Indy's got the better quarterback in this game. Yes, I definitely. In fact, I'll pick them. How about that?
Look at you.
Yeah, I'm a Minshew guy over who the Browns are going to play.
Yeah, Minshew's going to throw a minimum of 2 picks in this game.
Well, it is a very good defense. I do think, by the way, I sense Jonathan Taylor has a game.
That would be fascinating.
And he may have the game catching the ball out of the backfield.
That would make more sense to me than him having a great game running the football. All right, same question. You give New England any shot against Buffalo? I don't.
Oh, hell no. No. This is, I thought of this last night. Is this Tom Landry? Because when it went bad in Dallas, it went bad quickly. Landry had a great 25-year run, and they were even 6-2 midway through the 86 season. They went 1-7 the rest of the way, and then I think he went 5-11 and 3-13.
Well, you heard Teddy Bruschi's comments this week on the 4-Letter Network, in which he said, Bill always coached to win. It's always been about the team, and this seems like it's about Bill. And that's the opposite of everything he's ever preached coaching there. And I found that to be a fascinating comment from one of his former players.
So, no shot at all.
All right, because of relationship talk, we went a little long with. We'll get to the rest of the games on the other side. Still got some more games to pick. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when, all that kind of stuff. Still ahead. It's the bonus hour brought to you by the Diamond District right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I might never go on a seesaw ever again in my life because of what happened to me yesterday.
What did you do? You're riding on the seesaw at the zoo?
So when you walk in the zoo, there's a playground there.
Yeah.
The first thing we do without even speaking words is Soph and I, step on the seesaw because we're children. And it's one of the ones where you're standing on it and there's a bar in front of you. And we're going up and down, up and down. I go down hard and she's like, oh God, I scare her. And then I'm up. So she sends me up and then she's down and then she puts one foot off and then just steps away, literally jumps off of the seesaw.
Right.
And I'm 200 pounds flat. So it's like the cartoon characters, like when they fall off a cliff and they're just floating and they go help and then they fall. Gravity just did its thing and took me, and my hand is on the bar and I just boom and folded on the iron and collapsed into the ground and my legs flew up and flipped in the air. And I got the wind knocked out of me so hard. I felt like I got tackled by Khalil Mack or something like that. And I was on the ground like for like about a minute. And I couldn't breathe.
Was she laughing?
Oh, she was trying very hard not to contain her laughter. She was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then I just kind of stood up and didn't say anything, didn't even look at her. And then once I got my breath, I said, you bleeping bleep bleep. Yeah. Then she started, then we both laughed about it. But that shit hurted. Oh my gosh. And my thumb got caught on my belly in the bar. So I have a bruise on my thumb. I think my rib is bruised. That hurts so much.
So we disagree on Colts, Browns.
Yes.
Okay.
So we won't have time for it on the air, but I saw this story this morning. Snoop was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and apparently confirmed that he can get weed on basically any country in the world.
There you go.
That Mike Apps called him in Iceland trying to find weed, and Snoop got the rapper weed in Iceland. That's having connections.
So when Snoop says, I know a guy.
Right. Every country but North Korea, he says he's got a guy.
That's funny.
No, that's because there's only one guy in North Korea, but
I just want to spend 1 year of my life either in the mountain time zone or the West Coast, just so that I can experience the sports watching experience of that time.
You'd love the West Coast for your hoop.
KD and LeBron finally played against each other last night in a preseason game, and they actually played a pretty good amount of minutes, and it started at like 11. I was asleep by then. It's not fair. And I got to tell you, even 8:20 start times for a Sunday night football game on the East Coast is rough.
Yeah.
It stinks.
wait a minute. Is this a 23-year-old complaining the game
Yes.
too late?
I hate it.
Oh, you'll be fine. Give yourself a month. You'll be back in your normal routine, sleeping in every day.
It'll be phenomenal.
Think about now you're going to be starting at 11 o'clock.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Running through the rest of the NFL games before the good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when to end the Diamond District bonus hour and end our week on this Football Friday. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. And I know we're like a quarter of the way through our picks and what have you, but 10-4 home teams went in the NFL last week. That's the first time this year, and it's the first time in a while that home teams did as well. Well, remember, we had the two big home upsets, with the Browns and the Jets. So, normally they wouldn't have happened, and that would have been an 8-6 home week. But I'm just saying it for the first time this year, Mark, it also means that home teams have now won more games than road teams. Heading into last night, road team won. Home teams were 47-44 in the NFL. So now they're 47-45.
All right, back to the games. Vegas at Chicago. And David, I picked Chicago in this game, and I wrote down all my picks this morning. So when I have games that are the same as Lee or the same as Pat, whatever the case may be, I wrote these things down hours ago. This is one game I write the picks down and try to get my picks done before you do yours. This is a game I didn't have any idea, and I will fully admit that I picked Chicago because Pat Kirwan talked me into it. Because I have no idea who to take. We have backup quarterbacks playing against backup quarterbacks. I'll take Chicago.
I think there's an opportunity here for the Justin Fields era to be over. That's what I think. I'm not saying he's going to be this person, but there's a chance that this could be the Bears' Brock Purdy moment. Just in terms of Brock Purdy ended the Trey Lance movement decision, what it is they were going to do. He ended it. They would have kept going down that well if it wasn't for Brock Purdy. I think if Badgett plays well in the next 3-4 weeks here, he's got a dislocated thumb on his throwing hand. He's going to come back in a week or so, I think's crazy. And whether they win or lose, Mark, I don't think is relevant. If he plays well, I think the Bears, if nothing else, will conclude, well, we got to move on from Fields. I don't know if this kid's the future, but hell, if he's better than Fields, we can't stick with him. I like the Bears.
Run to your bookie and bet Vegas now.
Raiders defense playing very well. Very well, by the way.
David picked Washington in his fantastic 5 earlier against the Giants. The Giants have the worst offensive line in the National Football League. It just keeps getting injured. They have virtual no hope with how that line's playing right now to win a football game.
Have you heard where they are on the line? So last week, the guy who started at left guard was literally on his couch when the week began. And that's how he introduced himself on Sunday Night Football. Justin Pugh from the couch. Okay. Well, he's now starting, and they just signed 3 guys off practice squads this week.
Practice squads.
Right. So they got 3 guys off practice squads and a guy off his couch. Yeah, I like the Commanders.
Detroit and Baltimore. I picked the Lions outright, getting the 3 points. I think they win this football game. I think they're the better team. They will be part of the talk of the league come Monday when they win this game. This is their signature win. I know they beat Kansas City, but there was no Kelsey, and it was week 1, and a lot's changed since then. This will be the win that gets people talking about the Lions. They win in Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson 14-1 against the NFC. Give me the Ravens.
Arizona at Seattle. Do you give Arizona any shot in this game?
No, especially since Seattle's coming off a loss. No.
I disagree with Pat. I think the Rams are going to win the football game because Pittsburgh can't score. At the end of the day, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford against Pickett because the Pittsburgh Steelers are an offensive mess right now.
I think if Williams, the running back, had stayed healthy, I might go with you. But with the Rams being one-dimensional, that Steelers defense will eat it up. Stafford gets sacked at least 5 times. And Steelers coming off a bye. Mike Tomlin's 12-4 off buys. I'll take the Steelers.
Green Bay is at Denver. David already picked Green Bay, laying the 1 point, so that's what he's picking to win. I agree with him for what it's worth. Denver's they're just a bad football team. They're
Packers,
bad offensively. Their line's not good, and the Packers' defense is pretty good.
The Packers' pass defense is outstanding also. So can Denver win this game running the ball? Sean Payton doesn't like to win that way. It's probably his best path to winning. Keep it close and put the game on Jordan Love's shoulders. By the way, Jordan Love in person, not good. Wow. I mean, he can dink dunk, but if it's like beyond 5-7 yards of the line of scrimmage, I mean, they had one broken play against the Raiders. Back out of the backfield, got lost in coverage. It went for 65 yards. He was staggeringly, Mark, for a guy in his 4th year in the league. I know he's only played a half a dozen games, but staggeringly, oof.
I like Kansas City at home against the Chargers. I know you picked the Chargers in the points, David. Do you think they have enough to win the game outright?
This is my upset special. This is my Jets, Browns 1. For whatever now, listen, they got nothing for Kelsey. Kelsey, man, he owns the Chargers. But Herbert has gone into Arrowhead and beaten Mahomes twice. And the last year they lost the 2 games, 1-1, 1-2. You know, the year before that they split and the loss was in overtime and they had a lead late in regulation. I mean, for whatever it is, this is like the Commanders against the Eagles. You know, they beat them in Philly last year and lost in overtime this year. I mean, the Chargers match up really well. They are really desperate at 2-3. This is my upset special. Chiefs due to lose. They've won 12 straight division games.
Eckler's going to have a big game catching the ball, David, if you're right. I think Kansas City with Pacheco running the ball is the difference in the game because the Chargers are a bad defense. They shouldn't be, but they're a bad defense. And I think Pacheco running the ball is the difference in this game. It's why I've got Kansas City. Monday night, we'll talk about it more on Monday. San Francisco and Minnesota. I'm picking the Niners for what it's worth.
I will as well. Don't see how the Minnesota defense. Right now, the expectation is McCaffrey plays and Debo is a game-time decision, leaning no. If McCaffrey plays, I don't think the Vikings have much of a shot. Do we really think the Niners are going to lose 2 in a row? I mean, do we really think that?
2 teams that are inferior to them.
Right. So, no. Minnesota caught a bad break that the Niners kid missed the kick last week. They really did. Back to the Chargers also, Mark. You know I love teams that lose on Monday Night Football. Love them. Look it up, folks. Look it up. They win over 60% of the time on the short week. It's a bit of a desperation feel.
And they might be the most desperate team in the league right now. Because if they lose this game to Kansas City, there's no shot in the division, and the playoffs become, as a wild card, even more difficult.
By the way, if the Chiefs win, I mean, we all think that division's over anyway, but we officially put the X next to them, right? If they win.
Yes.
I mean, they'll be 6-1.
But if the Chargers win on the road, they're only a game back in the loss column, and they've beaten them already.
Right. And so, you know, we at least, it keeps us from putting the X until Halloween.
That's why the Jags went a long way to getting the X next to them last night.
Yes. Because also now you're thinking they're going to get to double-digit wins, and while you like what Houston's doing and the Colts have shown potential, it's tough to see the ceiling much higher than 9-8. Jacksonville now getting to 5-2. You think, yeah, that could be 10, 11, 12 wins there. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I picked the Jags and the Lions to be the 1 seeds. That's not looking ridiculous in mid-October, is it?
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David, I have a question for you. He's not even there. He took the Panthers last week over the Dolphins.
He took the Panthers in the points.
Oh.
He didn't take them outright. He took Carolina plus the whatever it was. And when they were up 14-0, it looked like it was a pretty good pick.
Too early. It was so crazy. For the first time in my life, I was not concerned at all in that position as a Dolphins fan. People were like, oh my gosh, they're up 2 touchdowns.
I was hoping Carolina would win.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm in a suicide league. That would have knocked out about 40 people.
Oh. There, yeah.
Like I could use New England winning because I'm sure there'll be a lot of Buffalo picks this week. I could use New England pulling off an upset at home.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in a suicide and now a death pool, and I don't ever try not to pick the same team. So I've Seattle in one, Buffalo in the other.
Yeah, what are the big plays this week in elimination pools?
I'm going Seattle. That is fantastic. I didn't see any intermissions of the. I wasn't watching intermissions of Wings and Pens. Bissonnette started chirping Yzerman about his fake tan. Asked him if Chelios left his tanning bed when he left town.
That's hysterical. Did Yzerman laugh? Because Steve doesn't seem like he laughs much.
I don't think Yzerman liked it all that much.
I think fake tans are pathetic. I think they look ridiculous.
There's a lot of them.
There's so many.
Only time I ever did it, and I used to go to a tanning bed when I lived in Michigan. This is when I was a teenager, but when I was coming down here for vacation, so I wouldn't get sunburned. I'd get a little pre-tan going so I wouldn't get so sunburned. Live in Michigan for a winter when you turn pasty white and tell me.
Oh.
Different world then, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been in a tanning bed in 35, 38 years.
See, I'm ignorant because I'm born and raised in Florida.
Right.
So, yeah.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final segment of the show and of the week on this predominantly Football Friday edition, Miller and Moulton. Along the Florida Sports Network, but the Diamond District bonus hour is exclusively to our loyal audience in the 239. Hey, before we get to all the stuff that you do here, so what's the big play this week in the elimination pools? And we don't have a double-digit favorite this week.
No, we've got a handful of big favorites. San Francisco is a 6.5-point favorite. Seattle about the same number, and Buffalo about the same number.
So Seattle and Buffalo around 8.
Yeah,
Niners close
around
to 7.
8.
So Buffalo's on the road. Seattle's at home. I have a feeling Seattle then will be the play, right?
Probably. That's who I picked. I'm still alive in mine, so I picked Seattle.
Did anybody really go hard with the Eagles or Niners last week?
Not really.
No?
Not
Okay.
really. I was very disappointed.
I was just wondering. Okay. So
whenever you're ready.
It's time for someone to take back this segment. If for no other reason, stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1928 we start. Noel Wynn incorporates Alaska Airways, the first airline in Alaska and one of the first in the U.S. 1934, a Major League Baseball all-star team led by Connie Mack, including Babe Ruth, Jimmy Fox, and Lou Gehrig, sailed to Japan for an 18-game series against the Big Six University League. Think about that in 34, who we sent over to Japan. They must have actually gotten paid because they willingly did it.
they better have gotten paid.
44. MacArthur goes back to the Philippines.
That's a biggie.
I shall return. And he did.
Yeah. Man of his word.
47. The radio rights for the World Series sell for $475,000 for 3 years.
So basically just under $160,000 a year.
Yeah.
For the radio rights. Remember, television, not a big deal then in its infancy.
We were still folksy in 62 because Peter, Paul, and Mary reached #1 on the album charts with their folk debut album entitled, ironically, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Huh.
Kind of like the show. They really went out there to come up with a name for that.
Man, what do we call it? I don't know. How about we just self-title it? Okay.
Today in 76, the Nets sold Dr. J to the Sixers.
was a dark day.
77. The chartered plane by Leonard Skinner runs out of fuel and crashes in Mississippi. 6 are killed, including lead singer Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, and backup singer Casey Gaines. 1982. The Cardinals beat the Brewers in 7. Your MVP? Ooh, let's play. Let's have a little fun. David, MVP of the 82 World Series?
Ooh, MVP 82 World Series. Cardinals won in 7. That wasn't Keith Hernandez, was it?
No, it was not.
Ted Simmons?
Darryl Porter.
Ooh, oh, it was the okay.
Right position.
Right, just got the wrong guy.
Wrong guy. 88, the Dodgers beat Oakland in 5. Oral Hershiser is your MVP. 1990, the Reds beat the A's in a sweep.
Which World Series was more shocking? Which A's loss shocked us more? Because they were huge favorites 3 years in a row in the World Series. Got beaten 5, swept, and then got swept.
Yeah, no one saw that coming against the Reds.
No. Dave Stewart got beat twice. Dave Stewart at the time was like the dude you didn't want to face. That scowl.
Modern day Bob Gibson-esque, if you will.
Exactly.
Big pitcher, through heat, wasn't afraid to come inside and was intimidating. Just his presence was intimidating.
Reds were like, oh, please. Whatever.
Today in 92, the Jays beat the Braves in Toronto, the first World Series game played outside the U.S.
Dave Winfield with the big hit in extra innings for the win for the Jays.
And today in 04, Boston comes back from 03 to beat the Yankees in 7.
Boy, they pulled out all the stops, too. You know when I knew the Yankees were in trouble? When I found out before the game that they were having Bucky Dent throw out the first pitch. I went, oh, you were just – this is like, when the Flyers went back to Kate Smith doing God Bless – when they'd play the Kate Smith recording after she died, and it was like, oh, this reeks of desperation.
And a year ago, McCaffrey was traded to the San Francisco 49ers.
That seems to have worked out well for one team.
Sure did. People that were born today celebrate, well, not celebrate, people that were born today that are no longer with us. Bela Lugosi, Mickey Mantle, Tom Petty, Leroy Selman, Aaron Pryor, and wrestler Razor Ramon. That was just for Adam in the Twitch chat room. Keith Hernandez is 70, Dave Craig is 65, Kamala Harris is 59, Herman Moore is 54, and Snoop Dogg is 52. Happy birthday, Snoop.
Seriously? He's only 52? I don't know. He feels like he's been around longer than that.
It's fact that he's still around. Who had the over on Snoop?
Listen, it's the one and only D-O-double-G. All right.
Snoop was on Kimmel last night and told a story about getting another rapper a weed connection in Iceland. Snoop said he can get weed in any country in the world with the exception of North Korea. And you know what? I believe him.
It's a hell of a distinction, to make or declaration to make public. It's outstanding.
What did I miss, David?
The Saturday Night Massacre was 50 years ago tonight, for those that remember the Nixon administration, and he could feel the walls coming in, and so they started firing people, and the special prosecutor got fired, and so the attorney general and the deputy attorney general resigned in protest. See, that's when people had morals and ethics, and like if you did something, you actually quit and protest. Now it's just all about keeping your power. Okay, we don't stand for anything. Both sides. Nobody. Who would resign in protest a position in government right now? Honestly, who do you think has the morals that they would resign a position in government in protest? Exactly. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not that things have changed or anything. And obviously so much for the better. That's what I got.
Okay, then. What do you, Felipe?
I've
bring
got
us
one,
up.
I've got
Hopefully
one for
this is a
you.
little more uplifting.
I've got one for you, Mark. One of the great running backs in recent Michigan State history, Kenneth Walker III. He's 23 today.
Oh.
Whatever.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Man, did he make Mel Tucker a lot of money.
Oh, my goodness. Did he ever?
I mean, at the running back position, to think of how little he's going to get paid for his next contract, 'cause he's a good pro running back.
I mean, when his Wikipedia is done and they list his lifetime earnings at, 22.6 million, they then need to say, but he made Mel Tucker 90.
He was damn good at Michigan State.
Oh, he's good for Seattle.
He is good.
We go to California for the good, where Brett Young went to buy a scratcher, but he didn't know what one to buy. So he left the choice up to the store clerk. I was just like, pick which whatever you want. I don't care. So she handed him over a California 200X ticket. He won $10 million.
Wow.
$10 million. I don't know. What do you have to give to the clerk who sold you the ticket?
Ooh. Is $100,000 enough?
How about a new car?
Well, I mean, that's 1%.
I think it's
right?
$100,000 minimum. I'm with you, David.
I mean, that's
1%. You're getting five. You're getting five after the one-time buyout and taxes. All you're probably getting $4 or $5 million.
Okay, so say it's $5 million. That's 2%, right?
Yeah. I
mean, you're in real estate. I mean, what do you get? 3 something? 4?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, do you kind of view it the same way?
Send me a text if you're looking to list your house.
By the way, I will say, did a hell of a job with mine. Sold it in less than 3 days.
All right. For the bad, we go to Tennessee, where in Gatlinburg, a family's having a barbecue with one guest that was not invited. That was a bear. As the family went scattering, the bear is seen lifting off the lid of the grill, knocking down 10 burgers, and then grabbing a can of Diet Coke before leaving.
Anybody got a problem with this?
I have a problem with the bear drinking Diet Coke. If you're going to get a soda, grab a Coke. You had 10 burgers, for crying out loud.
It was probably just on top. He didn't feel like, I hate putting the hand in and digging deep in the ice.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I loved when the Miracle used to have because it was Thursdays, that was like the dollar drafts. But Tuesdays, they had basically the grab a beer out of the bucket for $1. And you might get yourself a good beer, and you might get yourself a PBR. Love going deep in the cooler.
Was it like a mystery? You didn't
Yeah,
know we were really?
exactly.
That's fun. I like that.
See?
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Well,
I like the name back then better too.
I was going to say, what games were you going to?
This was a Miracle game.
A Miracle. Yeah.
I have no idea who they are now. And they're listening right now, and they know what I think of their name. They still listen. That's the amazing
He did
part.
go to a game, though. His daughter dragged him, a church thing, dragged him to a game.
Ay.
Mighty Muscles.
We go to Media, Pennsylvania for the ugly, where a driver of a box truck tried to avoid an animal. He avoided the animal, but hopped the curb and drove directly into the post office. The 5 people inside were far enough back that they were not injured. The box truck, on the other hand, didn't make it off so well. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, October the 20th, 2023.
Media, Pennsylvania, by the way, is just west of Philly. Somebody wanted to know where it was. It's a big state.
It is a big state. I had no clue. I'm glad I wondered it. I was afraid to ask.
So that's why I thought I'd throw it in. I mean, it's a cool name, right? Or a different name. Where you live? Media? What the hell are you talking about? Media, Pennsylvania. Seriously. Yeah. You big fan of the media? No, but I love where I live. What? Anyway, could have a lot of fun with this. Okay. We had 2 baseball games today, 5 and 8 o'clock. They reversed what they did yesterday. See, so the National League went early yesterday, so that goes late today. 8 o'clock, game 4. The game 5, Houston, Texas, series tied at 2. Verlander and Montgomery again.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston in this game. I don't think Verlander's losing both.
Well, and that's what I thought. Remember when Strider pitched twice against the Phillies, and the Phillies got him both times. So Texas favored, interestingly enough. They're a betting favored in this game against Verlander. Very interesting. We got a college game tonight. We got SMU and Temple. SMU, a 21-point favorite at 7:30 on the 4-letter network there. Got 2 hockey games for what it's worth. Devils Islanders on NHL Network at 7:30. I don't think
I like SMU tonight as far as games to bet of what you've listed. I'll take SMU and lay the number.
Late 21, and it might be 21.5 in spots too. So that half is worrisome. It's like Florida State's, you're taking Florida State laying the points against Duke, 14.5.
Yeah, I know. That's why I laughed when Lee sent it in. It was 13.5 when the week started, and that got bet up to 14. I like 13.5 a lot more than 14.5, David.
Funny how that works. So Mark Miller officially calling for Penn State and Miami to both win, upsets on Saturday, and the Dolphins to win on Sunday. So he gets all the credit or all the grief. Got it? Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your day and weekend.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in